What's up, court nerds? Time to get served. Don't know what's going on with YouTube tonight. There's a little audio issue going on with YouTube, so I just cut that. So, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday. It's your boy Phil. Let's get rolling. Clips you are not going to see anywhere else. I promise. New courtrooms, new judges, off the beaten path. Let's get rolling. Oh, and our girl Ontropolis, with the help of my super mod Monica, sent me a clip. My girl Ontrop, go follow, subscribe, like. She is my girl from the beginning. She's an OG. Let's get it rolling. So this one is out of Texas. New judge, Judge Sepulveda, and we have a father trying to be represented and his 19-year-old son. It is brutal.
If he's an adult and you are not a licensed attorney, he's required to speak to the ticketed individual. Sir, this court is not governed by federal rules or regulations. This is a state court. No, it does not, sir. They're separate sovereigns. So he needs to speak to the ticketed driver.
Okay, can I get over there?
Mr. So your mic's not on.
Your Honor, at this time, I am going to be asking for a plea of guilty or no contest with payment of the fine on the no insurance violation.
All right. Mr. Jesus Alanis III. Which one's the third? All right, Mr. Alanis, it looks like from what I have here, you were born in 2004, so that would make you coming up on, you're 19 right now? Is that correct? About to be 19, okay. All right, so Mr. Alanis, you have a ticket for no insurance. The recommendation of the state right now is currently a plea to the ticket amount. Now, it is defense to this charge if you were covered by insurance at the time of the stop. You just didn't have a copy of that coverage on you. If you can provide coverage that shows that you were covered during the time of that citation, that may be a defense to prosecution on this charge. Additionally, if you are able to prove that you have insurance coverage after the ticket has been issued, you may be eligible for something called a deferral, which is a way to keep this off of your driving record so it wouldn't affect your insurance rates or your driver's license eligibility. Now, Mr. Alanis, were you covered by insurance on the day of the stop? You can read something if you'd like. Bring that up here. We get that from his section. You're reading from the Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan case. This case does not apply to this ticket. Unless, Mr. Alanis, you have an argument as to how the facts in that Ray Donovan case are analogous to the case at bar. I asked Mr. Alanis III. You're not, sir, can you turn on the mic? Sir, you're not allowed to be his representative. You're allowed to represent him if you're an attorney, but if not, he would represent himself.
You just said that we can speak for ourselves.
He can speak for himself. I asked Mr. Alanis III. He's an adult, right? He's the age of 19?
Yes.
Is it me or is she a young Judge Webster?
Okay. He was
But
a cited
apparently,
driver.
Under the system, you guys are taking advantage of people that don't understand the law, rules,
How-
codes,
how-
and regulations.
Mr. Alanis III, again, I'm going to ask you what you read out. How does that apply to your current insurance case?
It's an infraction. He didn't break no law. Nobody got hurt. It's unconstitutional.
I'm asking Mr. Alanis III, sir, I'm going to ask you again. I am asking your adult son, unless you're indicating to me that your son has a disability that does not allow him to speak here in court today, which I haven't heard you say that he's disabled in some way. He needs to speak for himself. He's an adult. He's past the age of 17. Now, if you're an attorney, you're more than welcome to represent him, but as far as I know, you're not a barred attorney. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't belong to the British Association. No.
All right, so again, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Alanis, how does the Ray Donovan case, which you presented today, exempt you from being covered under Texas's law that requires drivers to be insured?
I follow law.
Were you covered by insurance at the time of the case? You think you were? You think you didn't break the law?
It's not unlawful. It's private.
No, sir. You're driving on a Texas roadway. That is a Texas public roadway. There are regulations for that. So again, Mr. Alanis III, I'm going to ask you, if you do believe that you haven't broken the law, I'm assuming that means you want to proceed to trial. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
It's the duty of the courts to
Again, sorry. Again, Sarge, can we have the father taken out? I'm going to speak to the third.
Excuse me, ma'am. Whatever I say comes from him. I know that he's not allowed to speak for me, but whatever.
Hi,
I say
Pops.
is coming from him.
That's great. You can come from him when he's sitting out in the antechamber. I'm speaking specifically to you, Mr. Alanis III. I've
Okay,
asked your
well, can
father
we just
several
go straight
times
to the
not to
ruling,
speak for
ma'am?
you.
I'm gonna go for not guilty.
Not guilty, and you want to proceed to trial. All right, so Mr. Alanis, when you proceed to trial, you have a right here in Texas called the right to discovery. That means you have the right to ask the prosecutor what evidence he has against you. And as long as it's not protected by state or federal law, you get access to that before trial. So you know exactly what they're going to have. Depending on what the case is, it could be anything from reports, citations, photos, videos. We don't actually know what they have until they ask the police department to turn that over. Do you want to see the evidence in your case before you proceed to trial?
Would it be printed out?
It would not be printed out. You get access to it, which means you get to review it at the city attorney's office. And then you'd see exactly what they have before you proceed to trial.
So it just benefits me?
Well, it allows you to know what the state's going to present before you go to trial. It's an option you can waive because you have a right to it. But if you don't want to waive it, you can ask the city attorney and he'll set up an appointment and get that evidence so that you can see it before you proceed to trial. So you know exactly if there's going to be any reports or videos or photos.
I'll go ahead and waive it.
You're going to waive your right to discovery? All right, that is going to require written waiver, so we're going to have to get that executed by you. Now, secondly, Mr. Alanis, there are two types of trials in this court. There's a trial before a jury, like you would think you'd
Judgment.
see on its, you want a bench trial.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to be put on the bench trial track. Now, Mr. Alanis, in this case, you can face a fine of up to $500. Do you understand that before you proceed forward on this case? If you're convicted, of course. If you're not convicted, of course, no fine is required. Now, Mr. Alanis, do we have Mr. Alanis's full history pulled up on Encode? Can one of y'all do that? Okay. Are you currently in school, Mr. Alanis?
No, ma'am, I graduated in 2022. I work at the First Cash Farm.
Okay. Do you work full-time, part-time?
I hit around 38 hours. a week.
Okay, so near full-time. All right. So, Mr. Alanis, since you're going to trial, usually you're required to post bond to go to trial. Usually that's the amount of the ticket. But given the fact that you are a first-time offender, you have no prior failure to your peers out of our court, I'm going to go ahead and qualify you for something called a personal recognizance bond. What that means is that you're allowed to not post a cash or surety bond, but just promise us with your signature that you're going to appear for the rest of your court dates, okay? So they're going to get you the paperwork for that. Now, what happens from here on out as we prepare for the trial? At your next pretrial setting, we're going to set you up on the bench trial pretrial track. That is a setting where it's all cases that are set to go to bench trial, and we're working through the preliminary motions. If you have any preliminary motions at that time that you'd like to file in your case before we go to trial, such as motion in limines, which keep out items you don't want discussed, or anything like that, you file it at that time. We will also have you execute that waiver of discovery at that time in writing. Then on that pre-trial date, we'll go ahead and get you your bench trial date. And then that date usually is about a month or two out from that next date. And that will be when you have your trial. On the date of your trial, the state is going to bring its witnesses because they have the burden to prove the case against you. You don't have to present anything. You don't have to ask any questions if you don't want to. It's all on the state to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a violation of the Texas insurance statute. Now, if you want to present evidence, you can, but again, like I said, you're not required by law to do so. You're not even required by law to take the stand in your own defense unless you want to, okay? Now, if you have any witnesses or any evidence that you would like to present on that date, you need to bring that with you, okay? And make sure that they're ready to go. All jury trials and all bench trials are going to be in person currently unless good cause is shown. So it'll be an in-person setting, and usually a bench trial will take anywhere from about an hour max to maybe an hour and a half max, okay? All right, Mr. Alonso, do you need anything further from Mr. Alanis since he's going to be waiving discovery?
With that waiver, Judge, I do not.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do, Mr. Alanis, is we're going to set you up for the bench trial, pre-trial track. So our clerks are going to get you that new date, and then we'll see you back on that date, okay? Now, you do have the right, like I said, in this case, to hire an attorney, and if you want to do so, you're more than free to. But if not, you would just represent yourself, okay? All right, that'll be it, Mr. Alanis. You're free to go once they get you your new court date.
Jury's out on her. We like her, correct? I think McAllen's going to be making an appearance on time serve as much as we can. I am digging Judge Sepulveda. Quick, to the point, drops the hammer. Love her. Kick the guy out, not having it. She is going to be on this show. We like her here. I likey. All right. Let's go to, I have a couple good ones. Let's go to this one. This is more of a visual, and then what the heck is going on there? Don't know. Ready? Here we go.
Karen Menzel versus Brian Griffin.
Do you see what I see? What's going on here?
Good morning, Mr. Sparrows.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Menzel, for the record, this matter is before the court for entry of a proposed consent judgment of divorce. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Present is Attorney Michael Sparrows representing the plaintiff, Karen Menzel. Ms. Menzel appears to be present with Mr. Sparrows.
Yes.
The judgment has been approved by the defendant, Brian Griffin, as well as his attorney, Carmen Moyer.
Look at her.
Right, Ms. Menzel, can you raise your right hand to be sworn, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I solemnly swear the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Mr. Sparrows.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're Karen Menzel.
Yes,
Were you a resident of Monroe County, Michigan for more than 180 days?
Yes.
Immediately preceding the filing of your complaint for divorce?
yes,
Speak up.
yes,
And were you married to the defendant on June 22nd, 2013?
yes,
Were there any children born into the marriage?
no,
Are you pregnant?
no,
You stated in your complaint
no.
that there's been a breakdown in the marriage relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed and there remains no reasonable likelihood that the marriage can be preserved. Is that true?
yes,
And you're asking the court to grant a judgment of divorce?
Why do I feel like she's being interrogated on like some MK Ultra experiment? Look at the lawyer. He's like, she's like, yes. She's have like the brain wires, like 11 from Stranger Things. Like, what's going on here? This is like a government experiment. This isn't a divorce hearing.
yes,
And have you
There's
two
six
counsel, have
She's about to be waterboarded after this.
we negotiated a complete settlement of all the issues?
I-
Yes?
yes,
And are they reflected in a proposed judgment that you have had the chance to review and to sign?
yes.
And do you recognize your signature and your husband's signature on that judgment?
Yes, sir,
And have you agreed that spousal support is barred as to both of you?
yes,
And you're each awarded those items of personal property in your possession?
Yes,
You're each awarded your own bank accounts and financial investments?
yes,
And you're each awarded any retirement accounts you may have?
yes,
You've agreed that you'll each pay your own debts?
yes,
Your interest in each other's life insurance policies are canceled?
yes,
And you're asking the court to grant a judgment of divorce according to those terms?
yes, sir.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Why do I feel like there's a guy in the back, like an old school 40s, like gangster with a gun? That's why they're cutting. Yeah, see? You're going to divorce him, see? You're going to answer yes, see?
Thank you, Mr. Spiros. Appears that everything is in order. Based upon the testimony that's been presented this morning, as well as complaint filed in this matter, the court finds that jurisdiction has been established. Court further finds that there.
And we know this guy. This is Judge Wendy's. We remember Judge Mark Brulick, right? Judge Wendy. I'm going to take her to Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, bouncy house.
Has been a breakdown of the marriage relationship to the extent that the object of matrimony has been destroyed, and there appears to be no reasonable likelihood that marriage can be preserved. Accordingly, it is ordered by this court that the marriage between the parties be and is thereby dissolved, and judgment shall enter, granting a divorce and bonds of matrimony. The court has signed the judgment. Thank you, Mr. Spiros, for your assistance. Good luck to you, Ms. Minsel. Now concludes, matter. You can zoom out. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Your
God
Honor.
bless you.
You're welcome.
Good God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now we have another one. This is another divorce proceeding. And it's this guy is just like King Spiteful. He literally says, I'm being spiteful. It's very good. It's very good. All right, let's go.
All right. All right, Mr. Jennifer, if you can proceed with the proofs from Ms. Keck, please.
You please state your name for the record and spell it.
Alicia Lynn Keck.
Come closer, keep your voice up.
Alicia Lynn Keck. ALEISHALYNNKECK.
And yet you're the plaintiff that filed for divorce in this matter?
Yes,
And Daniel Joseph Keck is your husband?
correct.
Do you believe there's been a breakdown of the marriage relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed and there's no reasonable likelihood that the marriage can be preserved?
Correct.
Before filing for divorce, did you live in the state of Michigan for at least 180 days?
Yes,
And in Monroe County for at least 10?
yes,
Are there any minor children between the two of you?
no,
All right, and are you currently pregnant?
Harrison Street, Monroe, 48161.
Thank you. Mr. Keck, did you hear the testimony of your wife, Alicia, this morning?
I did, sir.
Was her testimony true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
No, sir, it was not.
Okay, what was that? What was untrue relative to her testimony?
Okay. I did call Ally.
No, hold on. No, hold on. No, her
Okay.
testimony basically said that she is married to you, that she lived in Monroe County, state of Michigan for at least 6 months prior to filing the divorce complaint, that there are no minor children, that she's not now pregnant, and there's been a breakdown of the marriage. That
I'm
was her
sorry.
testimony.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, so you don't disagree with her testimony this morning then?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay. Very well, based upon the testimony that's been presented this morning, as well as the complaint filed, the court finds that jurisdiction has been established and that there has been a breakdown of the marriage relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed and there appears to be no reasonable likelihood that the marriage can be preserved. The court will simply, at this time, reserve all outstanding issues. We'll schedule this for a half-day hearing. We'll get my judicial assistant to come out with a date. Now this 30,000, so this vehicle has been repossessed, is that correct? Or was it damaged?
it's sitting in limbo.
It's currently sitting at the dealership. It's surrendered.
She drove
at
it
the
to her
dealership.
work, Your Honor.
I'm talking. It's
Whoa.
not damaged, but it's sitting at the dealership, and it can't be taken away by either party.
And so why can't it be taken by the parties?
Because when Mr. Keck closed the account, the dealership demanded the vehicle be returned.
So, okay,
Your
So,
Honor, I
they-
also gave her the key. I gave her my key that I had for the vehicle. I voluntarily gave it to her in front of a police officer that she called to the home and tried to have me arrested for, even though I was doing nothing wrong, which is why I wasn't arrested. But I voluntarily gave her the key and said, if you want to keep the truck, you pay for it. If not, we're both kind of screwed out of the lease. I did not call and cancel it. I called Ally and they did not, they already had it in their system as a repo. I will say this, I did update them with her current address and where she works because It was already in their system to be taken, so I just let them know exactly where it was going to be. It was already up for repossession. So the fact that she paid $3,000 on a vehicle that she knew was repossessed without simply calling and checking to make sure if she paid this money, if she still got to keep it, she was fully aware it was repossessed. So if she paid that money without making a phone call to see if it was going to matter, that's not my problem. That's hers.
Mr. It's still unclear to the court what'll happen. Mr. Jedick, you're claiming that Mr. Keck closed an account and that caused Ally Bank to repossess the vehicle?
Correct. We think he straight up did it out of spite. He might have surrendered the keys and gave the vehicle to her, but he's operating out of spite.
Right.
That's false.
Why did she take the car to the dealer?
The dealership told her to bring it back because the account was closed.
The dealership will not call and tell her to bring it back. It has nothing to do with the dealership. It has to do through Ally.
So I need to get some records from Ally about who called who and when.
I literally just told you, brother. I called and updated them with where exactly they could find the truck that they are entitled to because it was already in the repossession stage. Did I do that out of spite? Absolutely.
So I know Mr. Keck's version. I want Ally's
What a douche-a-roni.
version.
Mr. Jedick, who was making the payments? Who was making the payments on the vehicle?
I made every single payment for the whatever 24, 23, however many months we had it. I made every single payment, minus the last 3 that it was behind, which is the 3,000 she says she paid to catch it up.
So, Mr. Keck, at some point in time, you decided you're not going to make any more payments, and so you basically.
No, sir, absolutely. I cannot. I've had to rent a new home on my own, and I cannot afford the truck and a home.
Right. So did you contact Ally and say I'm not going to pay for it? And
no, I called Ally to check the status of it. And they said by the time I called, it was already in repossession. So I told them, yes, absolutely, come get it. Here's the address where you can find it. It was already repossessed. That's nothing. That was all I did was help them locate it.
It's very confusing to the court in terms of who did what. I don't know why Miss Keck would just turn in the vehicle. I mean, she could have worked, communicated with Ally, had an attorney represent her to straighten things out, rather than just surrender the vehicle, Mr. Jedick. So in any event, on the first blush, it appears to be a joint obligation. But again, if in fact we were going to contest that, how do we know the amount of the debt? Ally has Ally started an action?
It's still on both of their credit reports, and out to get further information from Ally. But they're both stuck with
obviously, we need to do some discovery. We need to know. Okay, maybe it's a 35. I don't know where the $39,000 figure comes from. You need to figure out what's the balance of the lease, and obviously they have an obligation, Ally, to mitigate damages, so they need to relet it. So I guess we need to get discovery from Ally in terms of what is it claiming? What are they claiming as due and owing from Mr. and Mrs. Keck? It could be a couple thousand. That's a far cry from 39,000. So, Mr. Jedick, you have to spend some time and effort on this, doing the discovery. It seems to me that once you complete your discovery with Ally, that maybe there's still a basis to come to some compromise, because it's going to be, the court would think it's going to be far cry from 39,000. Where that figure is coming from, I don't know. In any event, Mr. Jedick, how much time do you need in which to complete your discovery?
Are you looking for 30 to 60 days?
Obviously, you're gonna communicate with Ally. Are you gonna depose Mr. Keck? Are you gonna submit interrogatories?
Well, I want to get 30 to 60 days. I want to see what information Ally has, and there may be interrogatories, Mr. Keck, and requests for documents, requests for admissions. Yes, that be a part of it.
Well,
if he's saying we haven't settled anything, that's where we're at. So,
Your Honor, may I say something, please?
Sir, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Keck.
I told Alicia that if she wanted the tent back, which is the credit card debt that he seems to think we settled, if she wants the tent back, I have no problem giving that back to her if we can end our marriage today and not move forward. We were both responsible for the truck. I don't know why she's acting like this. This is the real world. These are adult decisions. We both made the decision. She wanted out of this marriage, and I'm sorry I couldn't afford the truck on my own, but guess what? Neither could you. So we're both screwed. We both need to deal with it. I don't understand why it needs to go 1 second past today. Not 1 second. I will give the tent back if we can end this today.
Are they fighting over a tent? T-E-N-T? I think he's talking because then he goes on to say something more about. I think it's a tent. Are they talking about a tent? Am I missing something here? TENT.
Well, obviously, Ms. Keck has the financial ability to have her attorney spend a lot of time and effort trying to conduct discovery. So from Ms. Keck's standpoint, she's got to spend a lot of money to get to the bottom of this. That's not
Her
your
mother
expense,
will
Mr.
spend some
Keck.
money.
What about other personal property? Can the parties put together a written list and exchange those lists of what is it that Ms.
Your Honor, I
Keck
have
wants
nothing
that
more
Mr.
of
Keck has?
Alicia's. The only thing I have that she thinks is hers is the tent. I have nothing else of hers. All I
Okay.
have left at the house is some personal effects of mine and my kids in the attic and the garage. Boxes of like toys and games and things like that is all I have over there.
The
Okay.
tent and the rack are about it that are in his possession that she's paying on. Those
Okay.
are
It's
the only,
either it or
other than
not,
that,
not
keep it,
about.
hey, I'm talking, other than that, to keep the personal property in their possession, but I think it's just the rack and the tent.
Okay, but there's items in Ms. Keck's home that Mr. Keck wants. Is that correct? Photographs, did you say?
Oh, Your Honor, real quick, this is probably petty, but she did tell me that she threw a box of my pictures out to the curb. I have the text. A box of pictures was picked up for the trash. Meanwhile, I gave her sister back 2 display cases full of her recently deceased father's model planes because I figured that's something they would want back. So if that
Okay.
speaks to anyone's character, that's how that happened.
Oh, you're such a
But
stand-up
what
guy.
about the tent? Do you have any objection to returning the tent?
If she will end this today and let us never speak again, I will absolutely drop the tent off. Today, I'm not working. I'll drop it off in the driveway when she's not even home.
Well,
I will deliver it to her.
but if she wants to pay her attorney to conduct discovery and send subpoenas to Ally Bank and so forth, are you saying then you're not going to give her the tent?
Oh, absolutely. If we're going to drag this out, absolutely not. I'll fight to keep it. My mom
Okay.
my mom paid for the tent regardless. Whether she paid the credit card off or not is irrelevant. My mother paid for that tent as our wedding gift. That's why
The mother gave them a tent for a wedding gift. I mean, it could be this big, extravagant tent, maybe for camping, but I'm just thinking of like a tent that they're like in the woods with a pole.
took it. If her mother had paid for it, I would have left it alone. I took it
Okay.
out of spite. So
Well, if there's a gift from your mother, I don't know why she would claim the
and
tent.
my mother will be happy to provide any bank statement showing that she paid Alicia. Alicia clearly did not make the payment towards a credit card like I was under the understanding she was doing. That's what she told me.
Right. All right. I was just trying to see if we could accomplish something today, but it appears that we cannot. Mr. Jenik, the court is reluctant to schedule a trial date, so I know that you have completed your discovery and the parties cannot resolve this. It seems like this figure of 39,000 is greatly inflated.
Somebody.
Ally
That was the
needs
price
to,
of the
if
truck
you-
brand new. That's where
Right.
he got that number is he looked at a
Okay.
sticker price.
No, it's
Someone needs
it's
to-
on the credit report. It's not a fictional number. It's what the
Right.
Ally says
Someone-
they
Never
owe.
said it was fictional.
Hold on. Someone needs to push Allied to mitigate their damages. Mr. Jenik, you'd be in the best position to do that. Tell them that they need to, you're trying to get a final figure and they need to relet that vehicle or sell it or do something. And Mr. Keck has no interest in the vehicle, none whatsoever. Is that correct?
No, sir, I do not.
No, Mrs. Keck. Mr. Keck says he can't afford it and doesn't want it. That's why he turned it over to Ms. Keck. Ms. Keck has no interest because she could probably retrieve it from the
She's
Ally.
already
She
got a
decided-
brand new one.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Mr. Keck, let me finish. What the court's suggesting, if Ms. Keck really wanted the vehicle, that she could probably return it, secure the return of it, still sitting on the
Right,
lot, then she could sign a new note with Ally Bank.
I
And
did
that's
try to
one
do that.
way to resolve the matter, but Mr. Jenik, what do we set this for a staff conference, about 60 days? And then the parties can check back in, you can let me know whether or not you completed your discovery, and maybe we'll have a hard figure from Ally, but somebody needs to push Ally to move that. You just can't sit on the lot for months. They need to either relet it or sell it. They have no obligation. So Mr. Jenik, you can perhaps send them a letter and tell them they need to mitigate their damages.
All right.
Look at his face. He's not happy about coughing over the tent. Never mind the truck.
Let's
And,
go 60 days.
But Ms. Keck has no interest in the vehicle. Is that correct?
No,
I
no.
had interest in the vehicle. I did try to
I'm sorry,
release the
Mr.
vehicle.
Jenik. Mr. Jenik,
Okay.
could you respond to the question? Does she have any interest in the vehicle?
Yeah, she tried to actually get it back and sign a note, but because of the limbo between the lending company and the dealership, she wasn't successful because of Mr. Keck's actions.
Maybe because of, well, I don't know what, he's saying he'd never closed the account. Maybe with your involvement, Mr. Jenik, maybe you can get them I mean, obviously it's everyone's best interest, the ally, the dealer. I mean, I don't know what the dealer has to do with it. I mean, they don't own the vehicle.
Thank you.
It's apparently owned by, well, I'm not sure who owns it. In any event, I think if you're involved, Ms. Jadnek, you can maybe facilitate the return of that vehicle to Ms. Keck. She knows the condition it's in, and it's everyone's best interest to facilitate this resolution as soon as possible. And with your assistance, Ms. Jadnek, maybe that can happen. Any event, we'll give you a date to, and we're going to send out a notice of just a status conference. What do you suggest, Ms. Jadnek? 60 days? 45 days?
60 is good.
Okay, so sometime in May. How about May 12th, Friday, May
Oh, I'm
12th?
writing that one down.
That's fine.
May 12th, baby.
How about
5/12.
9 a.m.?
I could do
Mr.
that.
Keck, are
Judge
Friday
Wendy.
mornings good, okay with your schedule?
Absolutely, sir. I will make it work.
All right, so the court mail you notice, Mr. Keck, it'll be a Zoom, just a status conference, May 12th, 2023 at 9 a.m., just to see where things stand. Hopefully, Mr. Jednek, with his assistance, can facilitate some resolution with Ally. And obviously, if Mr. Jednek reaches out to you, obviously to the extent you can cooperate, obviously to resolve this, that's in both your interests to try to resolve it. So to the extent you can cooperate, Mr. Keck, it will serve your best interest as well. So right now it's sitting on a dealership lot. Is that correct, Mr. Jednek?
Yes,
When was the vehicle returned? Months ago or weeks ago?
months ago, early January.
It was returned and tell you exactly.
Or does Ms. Keck work for the dealer?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, that would should give Ms. Keck an inside track in terms of facilitating resolution, Mr. Jednek, I would think.
But she don't work for Ally. There's a couple entities here. That's the problem.
Okay, but maybe she can provide you with some contact names and information to make this work. And
We're gonna work on it. Yeah, we're gonna work on this in the next 60 days.
Dealer deals with Ally all the time. They want to lease vehicles. They're dealing with that financing arm, Ally, all the time. I would think some of the dealer could be very helpful in that regard to help just move this off dead center, because right now it's dead center. It's not benefiting anyone. So, all right, thank you, Mr. Jednek. We appreciate your assistance, and we'll serve on that May 12th at 9 a.m. All right.
Thank you.
9
Yep,
a.m.
Thank
that
you,
will
Your
conclude
Honor.
this matter. We'll zoom out.
All right, right now we're going to go to Ontropolis video. This is right from her channel, okay? We're going to play a Cowlitz quickie from Miss Ontropolis, the OG, my girl. Here we go. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Ontrop. Everybody go follow her. We all sub to her anyway, so just keep viewing.
Older case, the 5308 was the one set for trial this morning, and the other was trailing. Is that correct, Mr. Phelan? Okay. Ms. Knowles?
Just to, I believe Mr. Zenner was in the room when the state recited about Mr. Banfield's matters. At this point, the state is moving to continue for good cause. No prosecutor was able to touch Mr. Banfield's case in a very short period of time. We found out late Tuesday, so we are requesting this be a good cause continuance. Again, the same time constraints that we're looking at with Mr. Banfield's case.
Mr. Phelan?
And Your Honor, there's case law to support a good cause continuance, and so I don't have any legal basis to object. I understand that Mr. Zenner would probably object on his own behalf, but I do not have any legal basis.
Mr. Zenner, are you wanting to make an objection at this point?
I was making an objection probably, so I would like to have my trial quite a while back. I also I thought that Mr. Phelan was going to discuss.
We'll get to that in a second, Mr. Zenner. We got to take care of each thing in order so that we can create.
Okay, I don't know the orders and whatnot here, so. I object, sure. I would like to have my trial, like I said, quite a while back. You should do quite a while back. And so I object.
She's great.
Based on all the circumstances in this case and the extreme nature of the issues that Mr. Lorraine is dealing with, I am going to make a finding for a good cause continuance. I will note.
Lorraine is that the person who's sick?
I will note Mr. Zenner's objection for the record. And do we want to look at the same time.
The other prosecutor's sick and,
Mr. Zenner, I'm talking now. I let you speak, so please don't speak over me. Ms. Knowles, the same time framework.
Let me just double check.
Does that work for you, Mr. Payne?
It should be fine.
So, Mr. Zenner, I'm gonna grant a short continuance in your matter, so we'll set readiness for March 14th, 2023 at 9 a.m. and trial for March 21st, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. Both matters will trail on that same time frame, and you're ordered to appear at those dates and times. And then, Mr. Phelan, was there another?
There are two more matters we'd like to take. Is Mr. Zaner would like to have a new attorney. I believe he would tell the court that he does not have any faith or trust in me, believes that I'm actively working against him, that I've lied to him on multiple occasions about a variety of different things, and that he does not believe that I have his best interests at heart.
Mr. Zenner, any additional comments there?
he said it very well.
So you feel like you can't have a conversation with Mr.
So I
Phelan?
cannot.
And you understand that if you request a new attorney, that's
Yes.
is a whole new 60-day time clock.
I believe that will get, I want a new attorney. I want a fair trial, I want a new attorney.
Simple request.
What are you having issues with Mr. Phelan specifically?
Specifically, this last one here is that he did not confirm with me and my sister that he did give all the documentation that my sister had for the doctor. Mr. Phelan also failed to get the documentation of records from the hospital and other doctors. My sister got them, and then we have no confirmation that the doctor I saw did get this information. And I did a really bad, poor job speaking to the doctor, and hope that I could at least have some communication with him, partly because of that.
And Mr. Phelan, was this the Dr. Patterson?
Yes, he had asked me to explore a possible defense related to anemia, and that resulting in diminished capacity or a dreamlike state that would have provided an explanation for the actions that he's alleged to have undertaken. I did retain Dr. Patterson. I provided him with all the information I had, as well as the medical records that were provided by his sister Carla. I uploaded them to a protected Dropbox. I provided the link to the doctor. And I don't know, I can't hand him a delivery confirmation, but apparently my word is not enough. The doctor did evaluate Mr. Zaner and indicated that he did not believe that this was a legal or appropriate defense based on his review of the records. And I don't believe Mr. Zaner's happy about that, but that's a retained an expert, and that's what they said.
So, Mr. Zenner, I guess, why is it that you think that he didn't do any of those things?
Because he's told me that he would look into getting doctor records, but he did not get them himself. He's been avoiding to get the doctor records to bring them up in trial. And also, let me see, when I get asked questions, I go blank a lot of times.
And I guess the only thing I would say is that I did not believe that there was a legal basis to pursue the defense. I did so in order to preserve the relationship I have with Mr. Zaner. I still don't believe that it was an appropriate defense, and the doctor agrees.
The other defense is there's a piece of paper, and it says something specific that Mr. Phelan and I disagree about the meaning of this very specific thing that the paper says. It's about my rights, about being locked up by the hospital people. And there's also lied to me about their, did not tell me accurately, said a few times about video. And there is no video, or there is video, I'm not sure. And then it needs to be investigated. There's a video, alleged or not alleged, whatever. to see why is it conveniently that 2 times they don't have video of the part where they say I assaulted someone. It disappears wherever the assault is what it appears to be to me. And that needs to be investigated. And this idea of video, Mr. Phelan has not spoken to me about it truthfully. He speaks out of the side of his mouth. It's like I'm going to a flea market and trying to buy something at a flea market. I grew up in a flea market. That's what he talks like. So it's a flea market still.
Mr. Phelan, how do you feel about moving forward as counsel of record on this case?
I guess, I mean, I don't believe that he trusts me. I don't believe
You think?
any relationship there at all. But I guess the question that my supervisor would have me pose or bring up is that whether anyone could satisfy Mr. Zahner. And I do not believe that anyone would satisfy Mr. Zahner. I believe he had, so there's that, but I certainly don't believe that there's any sort of relationship. And I will do my best at a trial. I will provide him with a defense, the best defense that's available under the law, and I believe that I can do that. But I don't believe that he trusts me. I don't know that I can trust him to be honest or forthright with me. And I do believe he would probably do something like try to set me up to get me in trouble. So I don't have a lot of faith in Mr. Zahner's.
He's being smart.
I have never had trouble with a court-appointed attorney except for once before in the past, and it was a very small issue. And so this is the only, oh, wait, the last time was with Mr. Yes, this is the third time in my lifetime. And one was over a large issue. So, I think that I can be satisfied with somebody who helps me. I just need somebody who helped me. Mr. Morgan, of course, that I had difficulty with. And back a long time ago, there was some little thing that
Yikes. Absolute yikes.
Very third layer to this, Mr. Phelan.
A third layer.
Yes, before
There
I
is, it's
bond
going
in a
to be
second.
a request for bond, Your Honor, or a request for PR.
Get him out.
Don't know that there's any change in circumstance, but I was going to let him, if he was going to get a new attorney, let his new attorney, I guess, deal with that issue. I brought up a bond motion previously, and it ended spectacularly in court when Mr. Zahner indicated that he would not be following any of the rules or requirements that the court imposed. So I don't have any basis to bring a new bond motion, but I believe he does want to bring it.
And this is another issue that Mr. Phelan failed me in. He told me that he thought I would be released. Released means I'm released. Here is a post bail. He didn't tell me that I was going to go see somebody about posting bail. No, he said released. And so when I get there, all of a sudden there's this stuff going on where I have to post.
Okay.
Come up
All right,
with a
Mr.
bail.
Zenner, Mr. Zenner. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I understand, frankly, the tenuous nature of some relationships that exist between counsel and client. I also am aware of the backlog. I'm aware of the lack of attorneys that are available to take over cases, and just how many cases everybody is holding. The concern I have, but for a few comments from Mr. Phelan, I would likely have asked him to forge ahead in this case. My concern is, I don't think counsel should knowingly put themselves in a position where they could be have ethical situations arise moving forward. I don't know if Mr. Marr has a backup plan for Mr. Zenner, but Mr. Zenner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grant your request for new counsel. I'm going to set this to next Thursday.
Do the attorney a favor.
At this point, I'm going to keep those trial dates and have those be addressed by new counsel. I'm going to set this to Thursday, the 9th of March. And I guess, Mr. Phelan, would that be best to be set at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m.?
9 a.m. I imagine Mr. Marr will probably address the new attorney. So if we could just put it on 9 a.m. for him, and then
Okay.
it can be moved at that point.
So, Mr. Zenner, I'm gonna set your matters to Thursday, the 9th of March at 9 a.m. for appointment of new counsel and for a bail review.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye.
thank you.
My girl Ontrop. Thank you, Ontrop. That was a goodie. That was a goodie. All right, here we go. I'm going to show the Manning TPO. Some of you may saw it on Credence today. But I am going to play it because it's fantastic. And I'm going to stop it where they did certain something on the cell phone. So we're gonna have fun with that. But I got two more clips, one from Judge Washington and one from, I think this court was Amarillo, Texas. So we're gonna get those two funny clips, and then we're gonna go to the Manning TPO on a Friday night. Everyone else knows Manning. I have to. She's fantastic. This was a great TPO day. All right, here we go. We get a sassy Judge Washington here. We love sassy Judge Washington. We still haven't have a name for her. Judge Godmother, Judge. We already have Judge Aunt. What is she? Judge third grade teacher?
And just so I'm clear, so obviously there are going to be some times where people are not physically available, whether they're ill or whatever else. What is
Judge Vice Principal, maybe? I don't know.
the court's policy with respect to people who are just simply not physically able to appear in person?
Thank you, Fred.
For whatever that reason is.
Memberships.
If there's a valid reason that you have, and you've discussed that ahead of time with counsel, that they can't be present for whatever reason, the parties could either stipulate to adjourn it from that date, or, I mean, we're on Zoom, so it's very rare that people can't show for, I've not had that in the 2 years I've been doing this until today's date, to be honest.
Judge Sister Sassy. She's very sassy. Judge Zen, like that one. We got to keep it in the family, Monica, though. She's part of the fam. You know, like family tree. Where did it go?
If there has been an issue, the parties
Baby
have talked
diaper.
beforehand and made arrangements to move it to a different date when they could confirm that the witness was going to be present.
March 10th at 9 a.m.
That's correct, sir.
Queen Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, you too.
Got to come up with one for her. I think
The court will call the case of State of Michigan versus Christian Anderson, case number 23-004.
All right, here we go.
Assistant Public Defender Tanazi Carey, I can rule on behalf of Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, can you please state your name for the record?
Christian Anderson.
Thank you. Please turn on your screen, sir.
All right, 1 second. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You need to take your hats off.
Hats. Plural.
You are in court, sir. So you can either do it the way I'm asking you to do it, or you can show up to court in person, and then you can make sure you come in without your hats on. Both of them.
You gotta take your do-rag off too, dear.
I come in person. That way I can be very presentable. Right.
He would rather come in person than take his do-rag off.
Honestly, I don't think I can do that right now. Sorry.
Heather.
Judge, can I have a breakout room, Mr. Anderson, very quickly, please?
Real quick. So she puts her in a breakout room. There's a little break. Let's see. Go to it. We got a break.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so then they go
All right,
back.
we're here for final settlement conference today.
Okay.
Not you, Mr. Anderson. She's talking to the prosecutor.
I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought we had already called this case and we indicated we were ready to proceed, and I think there was a request for
Okay.
to pass the case to discuss further, so
Oh, is that what happened? Okay, that was a long time ago, and it did not register for me that this was that case. All right, they are ready to proceed on this case. There's also a bond violation in this case.
There's a bond violation. I don't think I have that, Judge. We would like to, I did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Anderson in the breakout room. We want to set this matter for a jury selection, Judge.
All right.
And Your Honor, I do not have, I'm sorry. What's the date on the bond violation? I just want to see if I have it before.
December 3rd.
Okay, I don't have that one. With respect to the request for jury selection, I do just want to make it clear because I did receive a request for an offer in this matter. And the people indicated that we would be willing to consent to HIDA. I believe that Mr. Anderson was 21 or 22 years old on the time of offense. So it appears that offer has been rejected, so it would not be available.
And I have explained that to Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson, if you can just confirm with the court that you understand that the offer for HIDA agreement from the prosecutor won't be available at trial.
Yes, she did explain that and I understood that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
She wants nothing to do with him.
Jury selection will continue on March 10th,
March
2023 at 9
Writing that
a.m.
down.
as address bond.
So Judge, I don't
We'll
think.
send it over to you to make sure
Okay.
you have it.
Thank you so much.
And we'll pass it again so that you can have a chance to, or Mr. Works, I guess, could have a chance to, or Miss O'Connor could have a chance to speak with him. Which one would be going in with Mr. Anderson?
I think it'll be Mr. Works, Judge.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't have it?
Okay.
Ms. Straub, are you present? She may not, I don't see her. She is.
Hello.
Do you happen to have the bond violation report for Mr. Christian Anderson?
Let me check.
Guy's swinging his kid. I love it. Stupidest things amuse me. I'm sorry. I'm just such a child.
Judge, can you tell me the date on that?
The last one I have is December the 3rd.
Yes, I do have that.
That's a good one. I like that one. I'm sorry. You're a good flick, K8.
Could you send it to Miss Kiriak and Ruli, please?
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Thank you. I'll pass this. Oh, and how about just send it directly to Mr. Works, both of them, like Kiriak and Ruli and Mr. Works.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so too, Sean.
All right, the court will call the case of the state of Michigan versus Courtrooms Stewart, 22F00591, as well as 22W001.
Now watch this.
For people.
Assistant Public Defender Chinazi Carey, I can really on behalf of.
You don't want to
That was
get yelled
Mr.
at.
Stewart, right, Judge?
That's correct.
Yes, Courtrooms Stewart. And his little partner there. Mr. Stewart, can you unmute and state your name for the record?
Courtrooms Stewart.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Stewart.
Good morning, Judge. I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
What a kiss ass.
Judge, we have had an opportunity to speak. Mr. Stewart is asking that this matter be set for jury selection, Your Honor.
He's got the baby, compliments Judge Mama's hair.
Jury selection will continue.
So we could call her, we could have Judge Mom, stern Mom DeSanto, and then we could go Judge Mama, soft, supple Mom, Judge Washington, correct? We could have two mom and mama. Can we agree on that? Right? Like you want to go to her for apple pie and hugs, and you don't want to see DeSanto when you come home late because she's checking the hood of the car to see what time you got home. That's what my father used to do. I used to lie and say I got home at like 2, and it was really like 4, and then he would check the hood of the car, and it would be like Judge DeSanto definitely does that. She's waiting there like this. You know, Judge Washington's making cookies and pie and giving you smooches. All right, brace yourself. Brace yourself. They're bred a little bit different in Amarillo, Texas. Here we go. and then we're going to Manning. Oh, look at that lineup. Where's Shemp? Mo, Larry, Curly, and the empty chairs for Shemp.
All right. Mr. Nugent.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nugent, looks like you got from March 2nd, you got a public intoxication.
Of course
Looks
he
like
did.
you've got a couple of days credit. You can plead not guilty if you want to have a trial or talk to an attorney. You can also plead guilty. I would give you credit for 2 days. That would leave you $184. What do you want to do?
Well, sir, I guess I plead guilty, even though I called them for a disturbance that I was having with some blood, some gang members, and they was chasing me, and so I called the police. But anyway, they wind up arresting me instead. But I'd like to go because I stay in Borger down there, and I got an apartment and everything down there, and I'd like to try to get back home. So
okay.
So but I don't want to stay here for, because I don't know how long it would take if I plead not guilty. So I'd rather just go and try to, I guess, plead guilty.
I can tell you what they say is that the police received calls about a subject jumping into traffic. They located you. You were flagging down an officer.
Wait, let's get this straight. He said the gang members were chasing him and the cops arrested him instead. And then the cops are saying that he was running in traffic. Well, maybe he was running away from the gang members. It's very plausible, but it's just his delivery is fantastic.
Witness stated that you had broken out a window at a business. The officer said you displayed multiple signs of intoxication.
Yes, sir.
You were running down. You said you were running down I-40.
Yes, sir, I was.
And it said you were a danger to yourself because you were on a major highway and you were attempting to jump in front of vehicles and also broke a window. If you want to, it's up to you. If you want to plead not guilty and have a trial, I'm going to set a PR bond on your case and you're able to get out today. If you want to plead.
What's a PR bond?
A PR bond is you would sign some paperwork stating that you promised to appear in court. This is the only thing holding you. So you would be signing paperwork saying that you understand that you're on the hook for $500 if you don't appear, and you'd have to be here Monday by 2 p.m. That's if you plead not guilty. So if you want to plead not guilty, you certainly can. You would be getting out today anyway. Otherwise, you can also plead guilty. You would be left owing $184. You can either stay in to finish paying that off, or you can get out and be here Monday and we'll talk about how you want to finish paying it off.
I don't have no transportation, nothing. I stay in Borger. So, but this is what I want to ask you. If I just go and plead guilty, how many days would I have to do?
Well, you owe $184. So it looks like a couple of days.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll go ahead on and plead guilty then.
And plead guilty? Okay. And you just want to stay in and finish that $184?
Yes, because I don't even know how I'm going to get home when I get out, but God will provide.
So I'm going to put down, I'll take your plea of guilty. I'll find you guilty. That's $484. I will give you $300 credit. And then I'm going to mark down that you're going to just voluntarily remand yourself to finish that $184. The deputy there is approaching. He's got some paperwork for you to fill out. And so as soon as you're done with that 184, they'll let you go. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate
you.
Frederick Douglass.
Mr.
I'm seeing in the comments, before we get to the next two, Judge Manning is not the neighborhood cop, Tink. Judge Manning is the cool aunt that goes on road trips, RVing, goes to Colorado, wears Merrells, comes only for the holidays, stops by, throws you $100 bill, tells you to come over, smoke a doob with her. She buys you some ice cream. You don't see her for another 3 months. That's Judge Manning.
Austin Beck. How you doing, Mr. Ossenbeck?
All right.
Let's see. Okay, Mr. Ossenbeck, yeah, a couple things going on. First off, you got a new charge of public intoxication. And then you also got 5 charges that you previously pled no contest to, and you set up a payment plan, and then it looks like you didn't end up following through.
I lost my job, sir. Sorry.
That's okay. Where were you working at the time?
Payless Transmission.
When did you work there?
I was just working there like about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer.
How long did you work there?
I had previously worked there before, and then I lost my job, and then I had gotten it back there for a little while, but my motorized bicycle got stolen. And so one of my coworkers was kind of like being a few minutes late with me to pick me up. And so my boss was like, man, I'm just gonna have to cut this off. So
why didn't you ever come back over here and say, hey, I lost my job. Is there some way else we could work it out?
I've been desperately just trying to keep my family in a hotel room. I've been.
What do you mean by family? What do you got?
My girlfriend and her son. Our son. I'm actually really worried because I think I only have like one more day paid, so I just need to be able to get out. And
how you been paying it?
Panhandling, begging for money.
What do you want to do
Because
on
you're a
this new
member
charge,
already.
public intoxication?
Niz, you're a member already, Niz. You were gifted a membership by either France or Heather.
Whatever is easiest to get out of here. That's however that has to happen.
I
was inebriated, and I do apologize for that.
You don't have a job. You can barely pay to stay in a hotel, but you're spending money drinking.
It's like $7.
Well,
I spent on
still
alcohol.
$7 that probably could be spent better elsewhere, right?
Right, most assuredly.
I mean, food for the kid.
You are correct.
I don't understand that. If you plead guilty on the public intoxication, it's 484. I'll give you a day credit. That leaves you 334. I would release you to appear to set up some way to get that paid off. Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Or do you want to plea of not guilty?
Just guilty, I guess.
Okay. So I'll accept your plea of guilty on that. Give you $150 credit. So that'll leave you 334. I'm going to release you to appear no later than 2 p.m. after the day you're released. So if that's today, then Monday. But whatever day that is, you got to be here by 2 p.m. Really come early. Come about 1:45 so you can get checked in for court, and then we can talk about what we need to do. If we need to set up a payment plan, if you need to do community service, something like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's on that one.
This judge reminds me of Judge McNally is Judge Dad. He left your mom midlife crisis with the convertible, and then your mom has to settle for someone stable to help support the kids, and she marries Judge Henderson. So he's Judge Stepdad.
So you owe $1,905.
Thank you, Rick.
You still have a car?
No, I don't have a
You were at the time. It's like you were driving some kind of Ford.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend, she had that vehicle and she got it impounded and she left. So, but I don't drive anymore. I don't have a car. I had a motorized bicycle, but it got stolen. So,
At one point, you were in a. Oh wait. So you just picked up an offense on January 6th of speeding, and you were in a 2022 Chevrolet.
yeah, it's a U-Haul van.
Okay.
He's looking for his friend Ketchup.
You keep digging yourself a hole because you keep getting
I had to.
violations.
Bad
I
joke.
mean,
I know, sir. I'm
how do
sorry.
you ever get out of it when you keep getting in trouble?
That's the issue, I guess. I need to set up community service or something for that, and that is a hole that it keeps getting deeper.
I may have had your amount wrong. Let's see. Ray, are you still there? Do you have his total amount?
Yes, just 1 second, Judge.
Just on the capias.
Sure.
Curious.
Thank you, Nizzo Niz. Yeah, you've been leaving comments since day one too, man. Love it.
$19.05?
That's what I thought. Is that right?
$19.05.
Oh, okay. I did it right. So yeah, 1905. I don't like when somebody doesn't try to follow through at all to do anything.
I just lost my job is all. I was starting to pay and everything.
Right, but the problem is when you lose your job and you can't pay, then you come back and you tell us, I
I know.
lost my job, I can't pay, I need to figure out something else. But what you did is just nothing.
I know. I made a very big mistake there, sir. I sincerely do apologize.
Also, I'm sorry, Maria, I don't have the KP, all I have is regular judgments.
I did just give you regular judgments. I can send those to you.
Don't I need the KPs or do I not?
Well, it just really depends on what you want to do. But I'll be glad to send them to you. Where you at too?
Yes,
Okay. They're on their way.
thank you.
He is a travesty.
What all do you have holding you? Just this? Strassenbeck?
I'm not sure. I believe so, yes.
Judge Stepdad's thinking.
Girlfriend work?
She doesn't have a job at this moment either.
He's nice.
She has several applications in, but I mean, we don't have childcare, so it's either she's gonna be working and I'm gonna be watching, or we're trying to figure that out. But we're just
Almost sounds like you'd be better off staying in there and just getting these taken care of, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
well, I know, but then my son and my girl, they're gonna get kicked out of the hotel room because no one else is making money, and like that's all I'm worried about is just keeping a roof over my son's head. You know what I mean? And him not having to be in the shelter or something.
And buying a pint.
I agree with you. I did make it very hard.
Says, officers were dispatched to McDonald's. This was at getting close to midnight. They spoke with you. You had bloodshot eyes, swaying, slurred speech, smelled of alcohol. They've talked to people and found you had previously entered other restaurants causing problems, even blocking exit to a female. Ossenbeck even swung a metal ball attached to a rubber string at others.
What is he, a cat? Yes. A ball with a rope.
I mean, it just, I don't know. It doesn't sound like.
I made a very, very big mistake.
You think?
Basically, what it boils down to is no alcohol.
You think?
That is something I will have to adhere to.
Oh my God. Sweet Jesus. Yes, Marilyn, sweet Jesus. They actually wrote that in the report. He was swinging a ball with a string. What is he doing?
I'm going to find that you're not indigent.
Samson, what up?
I'm going to order that you stay in right now to take care of this stuff. If you want to write and see another judge, you can, but you just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then you're out drinking and causing those issues.
please, is there any way that so I could just, I'll turn myself back in, give me 24 hours, help, let me get my family back someplace let me help them figure it out. I mean, they have no context here. I'm just, I wasn't able to, I don't know her phone number or anything.
I can't release you and ask you to turn yourself back in.
Oh, well, however we have to do it. I mean, I'm desperate here. I'm not just trying to get out so I can just disappear.
What is he doing? Praying. Too late.
Is there any way?
No, but it's hard for me to take you seriously when you're out doing this stuff. I mean, you express concern, but when you're out doing this stuff, where were they? Where were they while you were out doing this?
In the hotel room.
I mean, why were you out doing that?
Because I'm an idiot and I'm sorry. Please, Your Honor, please.
How old's your son?
He's 2.5 years old.
Sick.
If you don't have a job, how are you keeping them there anyway?
Panhandling, begging for money, making people smile. I know I made a really bad mistake, sir, but if there's just any way. I would be eternally grateful.
And not show up.
I'm going to put that I can't determine whether you're indigent or not. I'm going to release you on the charges. You got to be here Monday by 2 p.m.
God bless you.
If you're not here, warrant issues, it's not going to be as, I mean, all you got to do is show up, set up doing community service. All you have to do is show up.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a map to.
They give you a map. He's going to give him a map. He just say map.
On how to get here. You've got to be here.
Okay.
I very rarely take chances on somebody that has that much. The few times I have, I've been lucky and they showed up. So don't let me down. Just be here so we can set something up. That's how you're going to help your girlfriend and child, is to get this taken care of so you don't get arrested, and probably to stop drinking too.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, they're going to give you a map. Be here by 2 p.m. Monday.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Sanchez?
Good, and you?
I'm all right.
That's good.
Let's see. Okay, Mr. Sanchez, you got a new charge. I say new, it's from October 10th of 2022, the possession of drug paraphernalia. That there's, obviously the warrant was out on this.
Yeah, we were slowly paying on that.
I'm sorry?
I said we were slowly paying on that.
So it doesn't look like you paid anything on that.
We haven't?
Well, you haven't pled to that, so you haven't owed any money on that.
Oh,
That one you need to enter a plea to.
Okay.
You can plead guilty, not guilty, no contest. Looks like you have a day credit, so that's $616 minus $150. That would leave you $466. What do you want to do on that one?
If I plead guilty, do I just get out and pay for the rest?
Well, we'll talk about that on what you want to do on those, and that'll affect this one. Do you want to go ahead and plead guilty on this one or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll find you guilty. That one's $616. I'll give you $150 credit. So that leaves you owing, what did I say, $466. Okay. On the other ones, it looks like you had previously pled guilty to no driver's license and failure to yield. And, oh wait, you've got another new one. We'll deal with that too. And failure to yield. You owed $190 and $260, whatever that comes out to, $350 or $450 maybe. You've paid $105. Then what happened?
Okay, so I was mowing grass for my day on them, then the weather got really bad, so I had to try to look for a job and that didn't work out.
Why didn't you come back and tell us?
I don't know, Your Honor, to be honest.
Because I don't care.
I think I'm 17, sir.
You've been to jail before?
No, sir.
This is your first time to go to jail?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how is it?
I don't like it. I hope not to come back. My parents and them are all trying to get me out. That's why I'm just trying to figure this out already.
Well, you owe $450 on the KPS. Can you pay that? Can somebody come pay that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I'll do on that one is, oh, Ray, do you want to print me the KPS on that?
They're not capious, Judge, as he's barely appearing as an adult.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So I can just mark on this order to release.
Yes,
Okay. Just want to make sure I do it right here.
and appear as an adult.
Oh, you mean to mark appeared as adult?
Yes, please.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, it's his first appearance.
Yeah.
So we can get checked in?
Yeah, about 15 minutes or so ahead of time.
Yes,
So you
sir.
get checked in. You owe, double check. 25 on one of them. And then I think I told you 4 something on the other ones. But then on the 2 that you'd already pledged to, you owe $450. So I would say as much money as you can bring with you to court, bring it, especially for the ones that you had previously pled guilty to, and that money's outstanding. Because you said if you said they could pay $450, bring that with you and get those paid off when you come to court, and then you can set up payment plans on the other 2.
Well, I think they want me to they want me to see the amount because my whole family's trying to help me out.
Okay.
Better.
Yeah.
So just remember, I'm ordering them to release you. You have to be here by 2 p.m., really by 1:45 on Monday for court at 2.
I bring all that money?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, if you paid it all off, then you wouldn't have to come to court at 2. You could always go up to the window and just pay the.
So we can just come back and pay it all and just instead of going to court?
Yeah. Could always come to the cashier here and pay everything and wouldn't have to come to court.
Yes, Your Honor. Where's that at?
They're going to give you a map.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Judge Dad loves maps.
Probably just end up doing that.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. You have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll either see that you've paid everything in full,
loves maps.
or we'll see you for court at 2. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Where are they giving him a map? Is the pay bond like a mile away? Why does everyone need a map to go to the cashier? And why is stepdad so nice to everyone? Because he wants everybody to like him like a stepdad. That's why he's nice to everybody. Yeah, he has Judge Grandma's strawberry candies in his khaki pocket of these cargo pants, and he takes it out and gives it to you, and there's all fuzz all over it. Warning. The next one is I'm speechless. You may have seen the YouTube short. It's blowing up. There's like 3,000 views since this morning on it already. You will see why.
Huh? Will you let my mom know my bond or no?
I'm still gonna see the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh boy. I'm gonna hear it for the comments in this one. Bring it on. Here she comes, Miss Amarillo.
So I'll talk about it when you come get them.
Okay. We're building the suspense. Here she comes. Yeah, they were definitely playing musical chairs before they went on Zoom. Definitely. It was a bad game of musical chairs because if you think about it, there was 3 defendants and 4 chairs. No one's going to lose. Who's losing? And they need a map to get to the chairs anyway. They don't know how to get there. They all just use a map. Oh boy, here we go. I'm not even fast forwarding it because the suspense is ridiculous. She's coming out of that little blue door. Are we ready? I don't think we're ready for this. I hope it's here. I hope I recorded it. If not, it's a Phil fail. Sean just coined that phrase, by the way. That's a Phil fail. Oh, it's coming. Here we go. Okay. And hiding behind door number 3. Here's her private security.
Yes, are you okay with doing it on the phone?
Oh no, he wants her live.
Okay, never mind. She's on her way.
Okay.
I think they're literally having to hold.
Do you understand that?
No!
If you were on probation, parole, or bond?
You got to violate. Miss Mann, let me.
What happened? Here
Come on, Miss Mann.
There you go. There you go, right there. See where he is? You're right there.
Just listen.
Hi, Ms. Mann. I'm Judge Henderson here at the municipal court. You doing okay?
Yes, I just
Okay.
found putting me in the car. I took in the car.
I'm sorry.
My dog's body.
Can you hang on just a second? I want to ask you a few questions, okay?
They've been raping my dog from Jasper Abigail, Andrea Ray Ann.
Can I ask you a few questions, Miss Mann? Miss Mann, let me ask you. Miss Mann, you've been charged with a couple things. I just want to make sure you understand, okay? You were charged with, and these are kind of old. They're from 2019. You got a violation for failing to report a change of address.
Exactly.
And
there's a reason.
You got to stop talking for a second, okay? And you got a violation for failing to control speed. You remember having a traffic accident?
Mhm.
Yes? Do you remember that?
It hurt really bad. Yeah. Slam the trunk. Slam the goddamn trunk real fast, Lloyd.
Ms. Mann, did you hear what I said?
Drugs are bad.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Mann.
Oh, you see me? Hurry! Hurry! Hurry!
Let's get right here.
Hurry!
Hip flip.
Stand up. Man up.
David Copperfield. She disappeared. Oh, there she is.
That's not hiding.
Where's Mustard? There you are, Mustard.
Come on, let's
There
go.
you are.
Let's go. Come on. Give me a hand. Come on. Let's go. There you go. Stand up. Stand up.
Now she wants all the attention.
There you go.
Oh, that was bad. So what she said in the beginning, I played it a couple times. It was my dog's body. They buried my dog's body, and they my dog. Yes, that's what they did. All right, let's bring on the TPO. I know Miss Monica was waiting. She may have seen it. You guys may have seen it, but it's fantastic. Let's roll to Manning TPO, please.
Lawrence Hale, you have to turn your camera on. Dang, camera on. Lawrence Hale, camera on. And I have to see you, not the wall, Mr. Hale. You, your face. Torrance Hale, I have to see you, your face, not your wall. Do you, sir, get out of bed or in a seat, put a shirt on. You don't have a shirt on, so put a shirt on with sleeves.
Manning announcing TPOs are just as good as the actual TPOs.
Right, when I call your name, take yourself off mute and answer with a here. But right now, I want everyone to look down, find the chat, place your email in the chat. Please don't ask me for IT instructions. Find your name in the chat, or find the chat, and then send your email to Amber Free. Send your email to Amber Free. Right, when I call your name, take yourself off of mute. I will give you instructions. Please let me finish talking before you interrupt me. Please allow me to finish talking before you interrupt me, okay? Tamara Latang?
Here.
Lipson Latang. And your TPO has expired and Mr. Latang has not been served. You plan on refiling.
That's what I say all the time. Why is it so hard?
Okay, put yourself on mute. So it's about to expire. If you want to continue with the TPO, you'll need to refile. Stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend. Kendall Bailey. Kendall Bailey. Swab Moomin. Failure to appear. Christian Taylor. Christian Taylor. Marquise Shelby. Tench, sit down and be still. iPhone, turn your camera on.
Here.
I didn't call your name for you to say anything. iPhone. Yep, sir. What is your name instead of iPhone? Of course, he doesn't have audio. Christian Taylor Marquise Shelby.
Imagine one day someone's name is actually iPhone. I always say that to myself. Guys, and if you've seen this before, I'm glad you're staying and hanging out, because there's some judges and some clips that it doesn't matter how many times you see it. It's just a good rerun. I just like to play it because I enjoy it. And I know some people that are loyal to the channel haven't seen it yet. And it's great. So throw your comments in or whatever you've watched it today, because this is a great clip. It's a great TPO hearing.
To appear. Sonia Copeland. Danielle Murphy.
Say here, Sonia Copeland.
Ms. Murphy wasn't served and your TPO is about to expire, ma'am. So you'll just need to refile if you'd like to continue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All right.
Your Honor.
Stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Andrea Copeland and Daniel Murphy, same thing. You'll just need to refile, okay? The other Ms. Copeland? Thank you so much. Blake Edwards? Angela Dre?
Here.
Blake Edwards? All right, ma'am, Mr. Edwards didn't show up. When were you served?
I filed online acknowledgement.
Okay, if you'll place your email in the chat, since he didn't show up, this is being dismissed for his failure to appear. We'll send you a copy of the dismissal. Make sure that you keep it with you, please, at all times, okay? Because this is going to be what, if something happens, you need to show them that the TPO was dismissed, okay?
Okay, what do I type in the message? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Place your email in the chat. Your email needs to go in the chat feature. You send it to where it says Amber Free. All right, once you place your email in the chat, you can go ahead and leave the meeting, and you'll get a copy of that dismissal later today. Stephen Friedman. Lacey Lassiter. Failure to appear. Torrance Hale.
Here.
Dacia Tinch.
Here.
Mr. Hale, do you still want to go forward?
No.
You got to take your hand away from your mouth and speak clearly. Would you still like to proceed?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right. Have you been forced to dismiss this, or are you doing this on your own accord?
On my own.
All right. Ms. Tinch, if you place your email in the chat, and Mr. Hale, we'll send you a copy of the dismissal, Ms. Tinch. And keep it with you, okay? So it'll come off GCIC probably in a week or so.
Okay.
Mr. Hale, you can also put your email in the chat. We'll send you a copy of the dismissal. Once y'all put your emails in the chat, you can both go ahead and leave the meeting. Y'all stay healthy.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good weekend. Yes, sir. Amina Thornton,
Here.
Donnie Alford.
I'm here.
When were you served, Mr. Alford?
I wasn't served.
What's about to expire? He wasn't served. You plan on, you want to acknowledge service?
Can we go ahead and handle it today?
All right. Ms. Free's going to type, you're going to share the screen, Ms. Free? Ms. Free's going to type something up and share her screen. If you give her permission to use your electronic signature, we'll get you to acknowledge service, and then do you have copies of all the paperwork, or do we need to send it to you?
He has it.
If it's the same paperwork that she screenshotted and sent to me, I do.
Wait a minute, ma'am. Why are you screenshotting and sending things to him?
Exactly.
I didn't send it to him. It was sent to him by a third party.
Your Honor, I have screenshots and messages from her number where it's coming from her, and she's sending it out all over social media as well. I have
death threats from him.
Okay.
I also have.
Stop. We'll take this up in a few minutes. All right, Mr. Alford, if you want to place your email in the chat, we're going to email you copies of the paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll come back to both of you. All right, I got Iglut LaCroix, I see Mr. Holberg, and Julian LaCroix. You're still on mute, Mr. Holberg. Still on mute, Mr. Holberg.
Got it. Your Honor, I represent Miss LaCroix. She is not here. She has actually had a mental health breakdown as a result of the conduct of the respondent. I know this is about to expire, so we're going to need to refile. The respondent was aware of the TPO. We had a 30-day status conference in the divorce on February 8th before Judge K. Mr. Peterson represents the respondent. As a courtesy, I asked him if he wanted to acknowledge service. He said no. Subsequently, since that time, on that date, we knew where the respondent was. Since that time, he's been going from motel to motel, hiding from service. So when my client gets out of the mental health facility, we will refile, Your Honor.
Okay, I mean, since you said he's avoiding service, we can extend this for 30 days, or would you rather just refile once you know the status?
If you can extend it, that would be great, but my client just went into the mental health facility this week. So I'm not sure when she's going to be out.
We can extend it since he's avoiding service, and then if she's still there and can't come, then of course, the two of you could, you can refile. Ms. Free, what's the date 30 days out?
30 day out. April 7th is our next available.
April 7th, Ms. Holberg, and that, I mean, he could be served by then, and you folks could work something out. So
yes, Your Honor.
7th at what time?
9:30.
April 7th at 9:30. Mr. Holberg, if you put your email in the chat, we will send.
I've already done it, Your Honor.
All right, we'll send you the reset notice. Good to see you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, Your Honor.
You too.
Thank you.
Raven Belcher. Jared Wynn.
Here.
Mr. Wynn.
Gerard Wynn.
It looks like Belcher didn't show up, so we're going to dismiss this on her failure to appear, Mr. Wynn. If you'll place your email in the chat, we will be glad to send you a copy of the dismissal and keep it with you for at least a couple of weeks, okay? Because it takes a week or so sometimes to come off of GCIC, okay?
Okay, it's already put in the chat.
All right, since you have, you can go ahead and leave the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, I see you, Christian Taylor. You were late, but your TPO has already expired, so you're gonna need to refile.
Okay, perfect. I just had a slight question in regards to that. So the
If you have
person that was
a question,
filing,
you reach out and ask your, okay?
I'm sorry.
Christian
Reach out and ask your
Saxon.
advocate any questions.
Your Honor, if you want to put us in a breakout room, I'll talk to him now.
All right. Let's see. All right, there you go.
I just want to make sure I'm
As long as
providing
you
the correct.
email the chat, we're dismissing it and we'll send you a copy of that later today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Here we
And
go.
I'm ready to share my screen for
Okay.
Mr. Alford.
All right, Mr. Alford, Ms. Free's gonna share her screen. If you just follow her instructions and listen to her.
Here we go.
Mr. Alford, this is the acknowledgement of service. I'm going to extend the petition order to you via email, but do you give me permission to use your electronic signature?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
So, sir, she's gonna send you a copy of the petition. Do you want a few minutes to review it, to make sure that you have all the pages?
No, I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay, if you both raise your right hands. Y'all swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
And Mr. Alford, okay. All right, Ms. Thornton, you'll go first. I can already tell this is gonna be one of those where you're gonna want to argue over each other. Do not argue over one another. Ms. Thornton, tell me what happened, why it is you're accusing Mr. Alford of domestic violence. Give me dates and exactly what happened. What happened to you? Don't tell me anything that anybody else said, okay? I want it to be just between you and him, and then I'll let Mr. Alford respond. Go ahead, Ms. Thornton.
Okay, the physical abuse started in September the 10th, where he twisted my arm, and that was a physical abuse. It has been an ongoing about 15 months of mental abuse. I'm a PTSD vet, and he would the way that I got involved with him is business wise, where he was we had music together. He was the artist and I was the financier and the artist developer. And he would have me to send him money to finance different things. And for the majority, that was fine. A lot of stuff was lies. Turns out his occupation before I met him and still today is he's a stripper. He calls himself a male entertainer. He's a stripper, gigolo, whatever. And he kind of minced me into all of those things. I wound up being involved in a whole lot of different ventures that he had going on. I found myself loaning him money for strip shows that he put on his with my money, and then would promise to give it back. I wouldn't get my money back. He became physically abusive when I stopped giving money as he asked for it. And I began to stray away. In September, after the incident where he twisted my arm, his car was repossessed and his rent was behind. A whole lot of things happened. The place where the dwelling was actually my dwelling. When he became abusive, I moved out of that dwelling, and I had that dwelling turned over into his name so that I didn't have to be in that atmosphere or around that. I was trying to remove myself from that. But I'm also married, and he would threaten to contact my husband. I sent evidence in where he would say he's on his way to my home. He would say that he has nothing to lose. He would say, I've already talked to my kids and told them that I'm gonna be away for a while. He would say that as long as I'm living and breathing and not in jail, you'll never sleep peacefully, you'll never have rest.
If there's stuff like if there are text messages you want to share, you need to share your screen and show it to me.
I don't know how to do that. Let me see if I can figure that out. Share screen. I did send the text. Oh, here we go. Share a screen and start broadcast, I guess.
Okay, we got to hit the pause at the right time because we see.
Share
Okay.
screens. How do you do this? Oh, you are sharing screen. Okay, share device on. Okay, share device on. Okay. So hopefully.
Oh, somebody
I'm
sent
doing this
$35
right.
on Cash App.
Oh, yeah, I think I am. Yep. So I'll go to the text messages and okay. One moment.
What is going on here? And then there's pictures of her Frenchie. Whoa!
So this is his notice in September where his car was getting repossessed.
What I need, ma'am, is threats that he's made to you.
Oh, no problem. Not a problem. I got that for you.
Please don't show me naked pictures of people that I cannot unsee.
Oh, sorry. Trying to get to the text messages for you. It's so many.
Dog porn.
Okay, let's go here.
Porn.
Okay, here he says, when I lose love for you, you should worry. The only reason why I haven't attempted to hurt you or to fuck your life up is because I love and loyalty, but I promise you the way you push me, that love is fading.
Yes, Addie.
And he goes, I'll be going to the magistrate court tomorrow. He used to threaten me all the time that he's going to go to my I was out on pre-trial because of an incident between he and I, and they just recently canceled the pre-trial, but it was from April of last year, and so every time I wanted to leave him, he threatened to go and lie to the courts and tell them that I've done something. So
I need to see like threats put you in fear. What is this?
Okay, so here I say, this is where I'm showing my lip busted. I say, I hope you feel vindicated, big man. Let your family and kids and yourself know you beat up a 45-year-old because he's 35. You have to have a high level of hate or inability to control yourself to punch a woman in her mouth. Priceless, shaking my head. He said, I have told you time and time again, you have really hurt me mentally, emotionally, and physically. I know I'm a man, but damn, you don't hear my cry. You do things to me. I even let you get away with hitting me in my face, but got you to come back and throw sweet tea on me. Then he says, yeah, I lost it. You would have too.
When was that?
Ma'am?
When was that he punched you in the lip?
That was in December.
December of what?
December let me see, I filed my first TPO on the 14th, so that was December December,
Is
like
it
December the
2022?
4th. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Then he says, fuck you, James, that's my husband, me, all of us about to be in a box, talking about a casket.
Is this a throuple thing going on though? Because like he's just freely just F-bombing the husband too. Is the husband's okay with Magic Donnie and his magical flailing thing in her phone?
See you soon. I don't think mentally I'm in a good place, but no one cares. I already told my kids I love them and daddy going on vacation. And he's showing me his GPS in his car where he's 22 minutes from my house.
Manning's like, this is it?
Oh, he says here,
That's it?
you took he's talking about me taking things from him. You took tickets from me and didn't sell them. I have to give this man $300 by 7:30. You sent Jada my house and rent information, but you can't come over here and make sure my house is good. So now I'm gonna text everybody in your effing house this effing video so you could get the feeling that I get. And he had recorded having sex.
Okay, sit, go ahead, move, thank you.
Okay. Then he says here, the whole time I've been trying to make you happy and us money. All of this is he's trying to get back into my graces because I wanted nothing to do with him. And I'm the one that looks like trash and get talked about. I'm the one with no food. You good with me or without me. I'm nothing without you, but you have left. You keep making yourself mad to leave me alone. I'm babysitting these dogs, no income from me.
When are these text messages?
He just wants some money.
You said when?
When?
This is in December.
All right, anything else happened in January?
Oh yeah, I got plenty in January. That's where he tried to extort money from me. Sorry.
How about you? Okay.
I don't know how to.
Okay, how about you stop sharing your screen?
Well, I got more.
Oh, how about you stop sharing your screen?
Okay, I gotta figure that out now. How do I do that?
Now we're
Stop.
all
Okay, there we go.
Oh boy.
I hit stop.
My phone is so boring compared to hers. My phone sucks.
Screen broadcasting. Is it still sharing?
Oh no, it's not still sharing.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Alfred, let me hear.
My phone has Judge Simpson and Judge Manning pictures in my phone.
From you real quick.
Yes, ma'am. First off, I want to say that I did not hit her in her lip. The way she has everything broken down is off the radars. And I don't know if you caught it, but you could see that in her search area or her screenshots, all those pictures, most of those pictures, some of those pictures came from my social media. I have 3 cases out pending against her. Like the first case was when she came and destroyed everything. They charged her with felony break-in, and I'm actually waiting on my what is it called? The advocate for to hit me back, Elizabeth Mendoza, to hit me back on that case. I have a new case pending against her where she came and she stole everything in my house, and I sent that to Detective Chowder. So basically what she's doing now is trying to cover up her tracks and build up a case. I found out that I had a case from her because she sent me a message saying that I had the case. I never been served. She posted on social media I have been taken off of shows due to this. I have a witness that I could call up, chime in, tell him to join Zoom, and he'll testify that she has sent my personal military ID out on social media, my government ID out on social media, told people I have AIDS. I'm not down. I want her to leave me alone. So if this is going to help her leave me alone, I'm down for it. I just don't want the temporary restraining order on my name because that affects me and my business. But I don't know what to ask for. I'm down for her being separated from me. That's what I want. The way she's going about it, trying to paint me as a bad picture because she's hurt or can't let something go or trying to be vindictive, is the wrong way to do it. So I am in the process, like I said, with these 3 cases, looking for the investigators to hit me back so we can move forward in all of these cases. And this will be added to my defamation of character case that I have pending against her as well, whenever I talk to my lawyer. So I'm all down for her leaving me alone and not contacting me. She's the one that's contacting me. Up all the way up until I blocked her the other day. And I asked her in text message, what is it going to take for you to leave me alone? Please leave me alone. And she basically said recently, give me my fucking dog papers. It's basically all she wants is the dog papers. And I told her I don't have dog papers. I don't have nothing for you. Please leave me alone. Then I said, if I'm doing all this stuff to you, if you want me to share my screen, I could share it to you, show you the text message, the recent text message.
I don't know. I kind of think I've seen enough.
No, mine's had no nudity on mine whatsoever. She shouldn't even have those pictures. Those pictures are from my OnlyFans and Twitter. So that
No,
means
ma'am. Those are pictures that he has sent me, and I can show from his telephone.
So he didn't interrupt you. Just let him finish talking. Go ahead, Mr. Alfred.
I could show you where she's recently hit me up and has been harassing, talking about, give me what I want and stuff like that. It's totally not me, ma'am. I could for sure assure you that I'm not stalking her.
All right. What else? Anything else, Ms. Thornton? How often is she texting you, Mr. Alfred?
He's muted.
Me? She texts me every day up until I started blocking her. I did not block her because the investigator told me.
When's the last time she texted you?
Let me see here. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at the text message. Last text message I have from her.
That's all, Kate.
Miss Thornton. Last text message I got from her was
6 minutes ago.
It was this week. I think it was like Monday.
It was 6 minutes ago, and it was a picture of her booty.
Tuesday at 10:08 is when I blocked her.
All right.
After she sent her last message.
Can you share your screen and show me that text?
Yes. Can you walk me through how to share that? Is it button says share? Gotcha. Screen.
Get Manning.
Gotcha.
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 I can't wait to get my pre-trial shirt.
Can you see my screen?
It says you're sharing your screen, but you got to pick what it is you want me to see. So pick that.
Oh, okay, I got you. Messages. So these is the messages right here. I don't know if you could see them, but
I can see one that she sent you, the last one she sent you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to now. So this is the last message where I told her, can you please leave me alone? Why are you texting me constantly? Go to the police, let them handle it. Stop spreading false rumors and the dogs.
There it is. Read this one. You know you a pussy eating bitch, Mr. Eat the boo. ATL.
Stuff. And this was like, you believe your own lies. And this is
Hold on a second.
just a,
Hold on, you're in the blue and she's in the black and the white.
yes, yes.
And these
So
are
this
all-
is her. These is all recent. So this is like her where I keep was like, please leave me alone. I don't have nothing for you. Well, until I get my dog papers. So, and then this is like just the whole week. And like, you have no secrets. Everyone know you're a loser. Like, this is her texting me. And I'm keep saying the dog papers, please leave me alone. Bitch ass motherfucker. I'm sorry for saying that, but that's basically, you can see that
Show me the
it's
last
not
text. Thank you.
okay. You
Just
said the last text
The very last one. What day and time was it?
that she sent me.
Right.
This is 10:53 a.m.
On what
And then
date?
she was like, yeah, A's Baron.
Okay, but
Get
tell
a
me
job.
what's the date? I see the time.
Okay. That date was whenever I blocked her. It was Tuesday.
Past Tuesday?
Yeah, this Tuesday at 10:00 this Tuesday. So it's this Tuesday.
Okay. All right, you can stop sharing your screen. All right, anything else, Ms.
Please.
Thornton? You're on mute, Ms. Thornton.
I feel just as bad for Amber Free. She listens to everything plus more for Manning.
You're on mute, Ms. Thornton.
Poor Amber Free. She definitely needs therapy. Poor woman.
Hello?
Okay, anything else?
That first of all, he is lying. He has been a stalker, and he's convicted in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he moved from.
Anything, you sent him text on Tuesday. Anything else?
No, I did not send him a text on Tuesday.
Who are those text messages from?
He has a text from about 3 or 4 weeks ago where my husband told him, not even 3 or 4 weeks ago, last month, where my husband told him to stop texting me, and that number, that particular number, belongs to my husband.
What?
He had that, to ask him to show you that.
The text he just showed, who sent those?
My husband.
Why?
When I don't know when. My husband's on the road, he's a truck driver.
Anything else at all?
Yes, ma'am. This man locked me in a bathroom and put a loaded gun to my head. This man, yes, there's a lot more. This man has traumatized me. I had to go. I spent
this happened, ma'am, because none of this is even in your petition.
Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am, it is.
No, ma'am,
it's one of the. Ma'am, I put in there that he put a loaded gun to my head.
When?
This was in December. He locked me in the bathroom and put a gun to my head.
All right, Mr. Alfred, what do you got to say about that?
I just want this to go away. I don't have nothing else to say.
Who's
Like,
the text between you and her, or you and her husband?
Who we believe in?
the
guys?
text is between me and her. If you call that number right now, it's her. I'm pretty sure, ma'am, her husband don't have nothing to do with this, or do not know what she's been doing or have going on.
No,
now he does.
My husband knows everything about this man. My husband has talked to him on the telephone.
So can you call your? Can you call?
No, I'm not calling, not doing any of that. I tell you what.
I kind of believe him. And that cut out on us. I'm going to go to the next one, guys. If we're going over 2 hours, we're going to go to the next one. Yeah. I believe her. I do. I kind of believe her. Yes. All right. Now we're going to pick up where we left off. And we're going to go to the next one.
Have any correspondence. And 10 minutes later, he sent Smyrna police to my house.
So let me stop you. So when he said his name and his voice, you knew it to be him on the phone, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and he sent the police to your house? Go ahead.
Prior to that, October 2022, he sent the police to my house as well in the name of a welfare check for a daughter that we allegedly have together.
Okay.
Prior to that, we have not spoken because I do not trust him with her due to
Okay, we're gonna jump to the guard. We're gonna jump to.
I wasn't being facetious. I wasn't trying to be nasty. I wasn't trying to get on her nerves. Me and Miss Ivory, we've been broke up. It hasn't been no personal relationship between us since 2008, Your Honor. I ain't been no talk about no relationship or nothing like that. My only concern is my daughter. I talked to the priest. I talked to her not too long ago. Matter of fact, I took my daughter's shoes over there. It wasn't no problem. Last year for her birthday, I took her some roses, some candy, and some other stuff. It wasn't no problem. I knock on the door. The priest will come to the door. You know, cordial most times. Is my daughter here? Yeah, and you know, we're handling it like that. Now, the reason I sent the police up to her house was because me and the priest had talked. And I said, the priest, I said, I really want to hear from my daughter more often. Let's work something out when she starts calling me, because she's getting older now. And I want her to know, I'm here for her. And we agreed on that. But I would call the priest. I called her 7 times in the past few months, but it was always about my daughter. I would ask her, what's the night? Either she ain't home from school or she's doing something else. Okay, cool. Well, can you ask her to call me when she gets down?
Mr. Wilbur, let me ask you a question. Do you have parenting time with your daughter?
I did. When she was first born, her mother was working from the house. I was babysitting her while her mama was working. She come over.
So your daughter wasn't born while y'all weren't married when your daughter was born, right?
No, sir.
Okay, did you go to court and get a judge to sign a piece of paper that says, you're the daddy and this is the times you get to see your daughter, every other weekend, rotate holidays and things like that?
No, we ain't did that, Your Honor. And the reason that we had to do that was because,
I recorded it too.
Kind of sort of dealing with each other.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, before I want to address
Pete
something
sent me
else.
one like this too.
Whenever
I recorded
get
it.
my daughter, whenever my daughter comes with me,
in the Discord.
the priest know I got other children. The priest know my other children. Whenever my daughter acts out or she get in her little mood or whatever, I
My girl
always
Kate
call
recording for
her
me.
mother. That's the first thing I do. Period. I call her mama. The priest, okay, this is what's going on. What do I need to do? And she'll tell me, Jamie, you her father. You handle it the
Thanks,
best way you
Kel.
can. Why you calling me? And so, Your Honor, I always take my kids in the bathroom and talk to them behind closed doors. And that's what I did. Your Honor, I had just took my daughter and got her hair done. And she had this one long plait in the front of her that came down her forehead because she had long braids. And I was talking to her because she threw something at me. And I was talking to her about that. Yes, I was chastising my child about that. And I caught myself taking off my belt like I was going to scare her or something a little bit to try to make her understand I wasn't playing, I was serious. And when I pulled my belt off, it wrapped around that braid in front of on her head right there, and it popped the bead back into her forehead. The first thing I did, Your Honor, I called the priest and I told her what happened. I told her what happened, and when she came over to get our daughter, she was like, "Oh, I thought it was worse than what you described. That's okay." And when we was working together, it was okay. We was getting through that. Then her mother jumped out the car. He hit her in the head with a belt buckle. He attacked her. He did that, and all that wasn't even true.
Okay, so
I'm not here.
So what you probably need to do, Mr. Wilburn, is go and do a legitimation case so that you'll have certain times where you can have parenting time with your daughter. And that way the two of you won't have to communicate about when or what. Now, okay, Ms. Aubrey, just let me ask you a question. So you heard from him in February. Prior to February of this year, when is the last time you'd heard from him before that?
I'm sorry, I could not understand your question, Your Honor.
You heard from him in February of this year. Prior to this February, when's the last time you heard from him prior to that?
October. That's when he sent the police to my house. October 2022, he sent Smyrna police to my house stating that he was my ex-husband.
Okay.
And he hasn't heard from in a while and that he was concerned.
Sorry, hold on one
That's
second.
when I found out that protective order was expired.
Hold on one second. So, Mr. Martinez, Ms. Jones, did you folks work out an agreement, or do we need a hearing?
We need a hearing, Judge.
Okay, I'll be finished in just a second. All right, so here's the thing, Ms. Ivory, Mr. Wilson. One, you guys need to y'all need to be able to get along for the sake of your daughter. Mr. Wilson, she doesn't want you to call her. But don't make phone calls out there to check on the welfare of your daughter if you honestly don't do anything, if you don't believe anything's wrong. One, it ties up police that need to go on true emergency calls. If by chance you thought something was wrong with your daughter or your daughter was in danger, fine. But if you're just doing it just to do it, stop. That's taking, an officer or two off of the street to respond to something like that. Domestic, it really doesn't even need to be dealt with if both of you just act like you both care about your daughter more than you do one another. So I don't find that this is going to meet the threshold because it was only one time, but Mr. Wilbur, so I'm going to deny this. But Mr. Wilbur, you need to stop calling Miss Ivory, stop going around her, file your paperwork in court so that you can get parenting time with your daughter. And that way the two of you do not have to communicate with each other at all. Time you'll get to see your daughter, and that way, because Miss Ivory obviously doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, now, can I say this, Your
There's
Honor?
a lot of background noise. I can't hear you.
Okay, I said I'm not putting it in place because it doesn't meet that threshold, but I told him not to call you, that he needs to file a legitimation case, get a set parenting time with y'all's daughter, and then go about it. And then y'all don't have to deal with one another. And I've told him, don't reach out to you, Miss Ivory. You don't want to talk to him.
Well, a lot of people have said that multiple times, and he keeps doing it, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I'm telling him this time.
2015,
Mr. Wilbur, it was stop. It was October, then February. So that's a really big gap. Mr. Wilbur, I am telling you. No, I don't want you. I want you to listen. I want you to listen. Now I gotta mute you. All right. So I want you to listen. You need to go get your child, go to court and get a legitimation order. That will give you parenting time with your daughter, and you don't have to communicate with Miss Ivory anymore. It's just you'll have time with your daughter, because people think they can get along and, oh, we'll just work it out. Well, obviously you don't work it out. You're not getting along. So unfortunately, you're going to have to go before a judge, be in front of that judge for however long, and that judge is going to make a determination on that day, just seeing that little snapshot of the both of your lives, on when you have time with your daughter. And this is because the both of you haven't been able to work it out. And trust me, that's the last thing that we want to do, because I get a snapshot of your lives. Then I've got to make these life-altering decisions. But y'all bring it to me and I will do it. And Mr. Wilbur, go get a lawyer, do what you got to do, get the time so that you have set times when you can see your daughter. But don't reach out to Miss Ivory anymore. She doesn't want to hear from you, okay?
She's such a good judge.
All right. Both of you can go ahead, put your email in the chat, and you can both go ahead and leave the meeting. And I'm going to go ahead and go with this last case that I have here with the two lawyers, Guard versus Home.
So, are we going to play the Guard versus Home now, or do you want to wait until tomorrow? Let me know in the chat right now. I'll let it play, or I could drop a video and do this one and plug it up for tomorrow. What do we think? This is a goodie. You want me to keep going? I'm waiting. Let me know now. Let's roll.
All right, so it looks like Miss Joanna. Can you take yourself off mute, Miss Joanna?
Yes, Judge, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a little better. So this is a witness for someone. Can both the parties and Miss Joanna, can y'all raise your right hands? Mr. Guard, Ms. Holmes, raise your right hand. And okay, y'all swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. If you just nod your heads for me. Okay, all right. And Mr. Warner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place you in the waiting room, okay? And I'll bring you back in.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Ms. Jones, do you want an opening? or do you just want to go straight into testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm representing the petitioner who's asking the court for a 12-month order protecting him and his minor child from the respondent because of acts of family violence. He's also seeking for sole use of the marital residence.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, anything?
Yes, Judge, we would like to counterclaim because we believe we have evidence showing that Mr. Gar was the one that initiated the family violence in November, I believe is what it is. And that we would also be asking the court for attorney's fees at the close of this case.
Okay, and was a copy of the answering counterclaim filed on Ms. Holmes or Ms. Jones? I'm not sure if she was in the case then.
We did file an answer, I believe. I was just looking at it on Odyssey.
In there, did you ask for a counterclaim? Or did you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I didn't get the petition.
You just filed an answer. You didn't ask for a TPO against.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
All right,
there's a divorce, and like my client has filed for a divorce, and we just believe that this is just something Mr. Gar is using to give him a leg up on this divorce case.
Sure. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is if I need to hear a counterclaim for a TPO against Mr. Gar, but your answer is no. So, Ms. Jones, go ahead and call your first witness. You want to call Mr. Gar?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this Ms. Joanna? Whose witness is that? Is that yours, Ms. Jones, or you, Mr. Martinez?
It's not mine, Judge. Is it ours, Ms. Holmes? Is that your mother?
Joanna is my cousin.
name
She's
is
our
McCoy.
Okay, I just didn't know whose witness it was, and if it was Ms. Jones, I was gonna ask if she wanted to take her first. So go ahead, Ms. Jones, you wanna call Mr. Gar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Gar, take yourself off mute.
Okay, I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Has everyone been sworn in already?
Yes, that's where everybody in.
Okay. Mr. Gar, how are you related to the respondent?
I'm related to the respondent. They're to the marriage.
Okay, so Mr. Gar, you're sitting close to something, either your phone or some other piece of electronic equipment that's giving feedback when you talk.
Okay.
You need to move that away from you. Or if somebody's standing near you, then they need to move.
One moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
How about, can you hear me a little better?
Yeah, well, it was just a feedback. I didn't mean that you had to go outside.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Give me one moment to try another room. So,
Mr. Wilburn, do you need something? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute, Mr. Wilburn.
okay. Is that a little better, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Hold on. Mr. Wilburn, what is it that you need, sir? You can leave. We're finished. You're on mute, Mr. Wilburn. I can't hear you. Mr. Wilburn. Okay, we're finished. Mr. Wilburn. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead for Mr. Gar.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. I am here.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Yes, Mr. Gar, how are you related to the respondent?
Related to the respondent through marriage. It's my wife.
Okay, do you two reside in the same residence?
Yes, we were residing in the same residence until the TPO was put in place. So we're no longer in residence.
Do you and the respondent share any children?
15-month-old, and we have one on the way.
Okay, and in this TPO, you're alleging that acts of violence occurred between you and the respondent, is that correct?
Yes, acts of violence have occurred Last act was actually on my birthday, 11/15, where my wife got mad and pushed me into the wall.
Okay, have any acts of violence occurred between the respondent and the minor child, to your knowledge?
I would say there's been some neglect that led to the child being injured. Absolutely.
Okay, and how old is the minor child?
15 months.
Okay. What is the first act of violence between you and the respondent that you can recall?
It goes back to, I believe, 2016, where
Kind
my
of going
wife-
in and out. You need to speak up a little bit, Mr. Gar.
Okay, sorry. Yes, ma'am. So absolutely, it goes back to 2016, where my wife was upset about disagreement we had, and she threw a candle at the ground at my apartment, cracked it. And then the most recent episode where she was upset about a discussion we were having, she didn't agree, and she pushed me into the wall while I was going to wash laundry.
And when, okay, so according to your TPO, there was an incident of violence that occurred on November 15, 2022?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. That's the incident she did push me into the wall while I was on my way to wash laundry.
Could you tell me about what happened on that day?
Yes, ma'am. So we had a discussion because my wife had been irritated from just like postpartum, and I've been trying to get her to get some help, but she had told me she had been feeling unlike herself. So I've been trying to be a supportive husband for my wife, for my family, for my daughter, and she had told me that she wanted to go get help, and she had become real angry and upset just at literally everything that I would say to her, recommend. We were talking downstairs. We had a disagreement, and when we went upstairs to talk in private, where we were having discussions, she didn't agree with me. She got mad. She ran up on me really fast, and she pushed me. I said, "Miss Cora, please stop. What are you doing?" And then she charged me again. And that time she pushed me, and I fell into the wall, and it put a split, like a crack in the wall.
Okay. And were you injured during this altercation?
My side was sore, like my hip bone and my side was sore a little bit, but with her being pregnant, I didn't want to call the police or anything like that on her. I just wanted to try to help my wife get help and make sure my family was safe.
And when did your wife give birth to your child?
She gave birth to Skylar on 11/23/2021.
And so she was pregnant she's currently pregnant.
Yeah, she's currently pregnant. She got pregnant, we went on vacation, and she told me that she was on her birth control. She stopped taking it, and then that's how she got pregnant again. And then later on, she told me I stopped taking the birth control because my body felt different, but no, I didn't tell you.
Okay. And in your TPO, you mentioned another incident of violence on February 7, 2023. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, ma'am. So the incident occurred, actually, she had been talking to me about her having suicidal ideations and thoughts. She had even mentioned it to my family. And I had become very concerned just because of the actions I had seen her display for her, the unborn baby, as well as our 15-month-old Skylar. And what happened was I got so concerned that I was like, I need to go talk to her mom, because nobody, my wife won't go. And she's been telling me that she's going to go out and trying to encourage her to go to get some help, some grief therapy for passing her father, as well as some postpartum therapy also. So I went to talk to her mom, and I asked my mother to go with me for emotional support, with her being a nurse and her and Cora being really close before everything took place. And what happened was the discussion with her mom, I thought it went over well, but when I left, hours later, Sakura came home, and she was very upset. She came in the house reporting, saying that, you called me an unfit mom. I told her the score. No, I never said you were an unfit mom. I just said I wanted you to get help because you haven't been yourself, and I'm worried about you. I'm worried about the baby. I'm worried about us. And she went into my parents' room while they're in the process of packing stuff up to move, started recording the video. just really looking to make a point, telling while she was on video saying this room is unfit for a 1-year-old, it's unfit for a 1-year-old. That's when I walked in, I said, hey, Sakura, don't do that. That's not right. Come out of my parents' room. And she wouldn't come out. She continued to record. So that's when my mom came down the hallway and she saying, Sakura, come out my room, come out my room. And then, when mom came in, she saw Sakura recording with her phone. So she just reached for the phone. And I was like, Mom, stop. Don't even try to stop. Just stop. Don't even mess with her. Because she's looking for a reaction, And that's when she fell back on the bed by herself, nobody under her or around her. Started yelling assault. She went outside and called the police. The police came to the home. They responded. They did an evaluation on her. They spoke to the family. They got both sides. And that's when they determined that Sakura was not mentally stable. And they wanted to do a 1013. Even after she called the police on my mother to try to get her arrested, I said, I'm not going to take it that way because I used to be a pharmaceutical sales rep for 9 years. I understand mental health. I worked at Georgia Regional. Mental health is health. So I just wanted to protect my wife. I wanted to protect my daughter. I wanted to protect them to make sure my family was safe. So the officer and the EMT asked me, could I go to the hospital with Sakura? Could I take her? I said, yes. That's when Sakura then asked to have a moment on the phone with her mother in private. She called her mother. Her mother and her stepfather came to the home. Her stepfather talked to me while I was outside. Sakura ran in the house. She took the baby and they jumped in the car with her mom and they hurried up and drove off before we could even talk. And they went from us going to get help to her now taking the baby away. So I was concerned about my daughter just because of the strange things that Sakura had been doing, like leaving her on the bed unattended while she's outside. We stay in the 2-story home. And I was worried about my baby falling off the bed. I would come home and I would see her upstairs on the bed by herself. And so I was concerned, but at the end of the day, I still wanted to get my wife help. And I just wanted my baby to be safe. I just wanted to keep my family in a safe situation. So that's when I then took out the TPO just because of the really strange behaviors I had been seeing from Sakura. I was worried. And my hope was that during that time of the TPO being in place, that Sakura would go get help because she had been telling me, I'm going to go get help. I know I need help. And she's even talked about the suicidal thoughts over and over again. So that's the situation that happened that day.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, my client would like to submit a copy of the police report as evidence.
Are you going to share your screen? Let Mr. Martinez see it?
Yes. Let's see.
I'm going to play the clip tomorrow. I'll fix it, Sean.
Can everyone see the screen? All right, so this is a copy of the police report from February 7th, 2023. So this is the narrative, 212. Oh, sorry, this is 212. I mean, this is the wrong one. One second, Your Honor. Okay, yes, I got it. So this is saying the narrative for this police report is saying that they arrived at the home and what Ms. Holmes told the police is that Ms. Guard entered her room and began recording. She asked to stop. Ms. Holmes refused to leave and a small tussle started between the two. Ms. Guard, with Mr. Guard and his mother. Mr. Guard stated that Ms. Holmes was not acting normally. Mr. Guard provided a recording where Ms. Holmes was saying that she was crying, that when she would be driving a vehicle, she just wanted to end it. Mr. Guard said that something was wrong with his wife and that she suffered from depression and they were out looking for her when they arrived at the home. Both parties advised the police that Ms. Holmes had a firearm on her. So then the police interviewed Ms. Holmes and removed the weapons from her, and an ambulance was called to see if she wanted to go to the hospital She said that she did, and she changed her mind a few times. So also when the officers observed the recording that Ms. Gar showed showing assault, he recorded that he did not observe any assault in that incident. He only saw, and he did not see any markings or bruising on Ms. Holmes that would have resulted from an assault.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I could stop sharing. I believe my client also has audio that he wanted to share of Ms. Gar saying that she wanted to commit suicide.
We object to that, Judge. That was there's no foundation between that. Also, I believe that that video is a video recording based on the Georgia video statute. It is let's see. I believe that, is it the conversation between her and her grandmother and Mr. Gar's mom?
Who's in the conversation with Mr. Gar?
Yes, ma'am. She was having a conversation with my mother about
Okay, were you
suicide.
hold on, stop.
I'm sorry.
Were you part of that conversation?
At that moment, no, ma'am.
Okay, then I don't want to hear it. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Jones. I can't hear that. It's between her and someone else, not her and Mr. Gar.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Mr. Gar, you allege another incident of abuse against the minor child on February 11th. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, ma'am. So when I got Skylar back from the child retrieval, when I received her back, she had 3 major lumps on her forehead, some major bruising. She just wasn't herself for a few days at a time. Just really cranky, really whiny, crying in her sleep a lot, which she never does. But the biggest concern to me was the 3 major humps she had on her forehead with dark coloration around it and bruising.
And did you have your daughter evaluated by a doctor?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the result of the evaluation?
Let's see here. I have the paperwork. They looked at it and notated it as alleged child abuse. Let's see here, the documentation.
Judge, I object to this. We can't see this report.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Gar,
I'll be happy to.
You gotta be able to see it.
Yes, ma'am. I can. I'll be happy to.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can share my screen. I didn't know you. I didn't see him uploading it. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Photos of your child's injuries, and you also took her for an examination at her physician, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the result of that examination?
The result of the examination was they were very concerned, and that's how they were able to determine the child abuse by the physical evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. So you've mentioned a few times that you believe that your wife is suffering from postpartum depression.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct? Would you be able to explain why you believe that?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. She has told me herself that she hasn't felt like herself for over 8 months now. That she doesn't want to be here no more, that she thinks about ending it. Just even when we first came home with the baby, my wife was hands off for the first 13 months. So when I started to see her get involved, it really made me happy and excited. But then I just started to see like the action she was taking with her, like just it said talk about leaving her in her crib while she's like screaming and crying really hard, sending me videos of it while I'm at work. Like, it's really, really hurtful. I would come home and she would be in the room by herself, crying with the lights off and the doors closed, and she would be in a separate room, and I would go in and pick her up, and she would come in there yelling at me like, "Why are you picking her up? Let her find her way around." I said, "Well, baby, it's dark. You know what I'm saying? It's dark in the room, and she can't. She's a baby. If she's crying, she needs to be consoled. She either needs food or milk. She needs to be picked up and be consoled, or she needs to be changed." So it just made me really concerned because I know that's not her, and like I said, I'm not trying to make her look like a bad person. But at the end of the day, I just wanted my wife to get help so she can be well, and our daughter could be safe, our family could be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Gar. On your TPO, you also have another incident of violence that occurred on February 11, 2023. Could you tell me more about what happened on that day?
On February 11th, the only thing that I called the police for that day is because that was the day that I recovered Skylar. I got her back, and I just wanted to notate that the bruising on her forehead. So that's when I called back to ask them to come back out to take a look at her, because that's when I had just got her back from my wife after she had took the baby and ran off for 5 days. That was the night that we were supposed to go to the hospital. She took her and she ran off. And when I got her back days later, that's when she had the humps and the bruises on her forehead. So I just called to make sure that was documented, because I was hoping that things would work out where I could, show her like, baby, it's okay. Let's get help. We can get help together and get through this. But I just wanted to make sure my baby was safe at the end of the day.
Okay, Mr. Gart, Respondents Counsel has mentioned that you and your wife are in the process of a divorce. Were you aware of that?
No, ma'am, this is the first time I've heard of it.
Have you been served in the divorce?
No, ma'am.
Have you and your wife spoken about getting a divorce?
No, ma'am, we've not. She did come by, what was it, 2 days ago to come to the house. Said she needed to retrieve some items, but she walked around the home recording a video and telling everybody in the house, if you take anything out the house, it's a felony. Don't touch nothing in here. Don't touch nothing. Don't leave with nothing. And she recorded my mom and says, and I'm going to have a warrant out for your arrest. Even then, I looked at her and she looked at me. I said, "Score, I still love you. I want you to get help. I want you to get help so we can be a family." Yeah. And she looked at me. She said, "You should have never went to my mom. You talked to my mom and to try to give me help. Went left. Now it's too late." And I said, "Okay." But she did not mention divorce.
Mr. Gart, so there has been a TPO in place. To your knowledge, has Ms. Holmes violated the conditions of the TPO?
From my knowledge, yes, ma'am. I know when the TPO was served, the sergeant asked Sakura to contact me. Not contact me, I'm sorry, but contact the police and have them contact me to set up a time that would work for both of us. She has yet to have them call me. She just shows up with the police at the door. And then it's been 5 times. Out of the 5 times, 3 I wasn't even on the premises, and they asked me if I would let her in to get her items. Each time I wasn't there, I still let her in because I just want the best for her. So even when we're not being there those 3 times, I still let her go in and get belongings.
So, Mr. Gart, is it your testimony that Ms. Holmes has violated the TPO order on 5 occasions since February, I believe, 7th?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jones, what day was she served?
I believe it was February 3rd, or let's see.
That was
February 8th.
February 8th. So since February 8th.
Okay. Go ahead with your question.
That's all of my questions for Mr. Gar this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Martinez, cross.
Yes, just a few questions, Judge. Start with the 11/15 incident, Mr. Gar. So you were pushed into a wall by your wife, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's correct.
How much so your wife was pregnant at the time, correct?
That's correct.
And how tall is she?
She's maybe about 3 inches shorter than me, 5'5".
And approximately how much did she weigh?
Last time we went to the doctor, she was 216. I'm 210.
All right. And what do you do for work, Mr. Gar?
I'm a tow truck. I'm actually a record service owner operator.
So a pretty physical job.
That's correct.
So would you say you're a strong man?
Yeah, very, very much so. But I'm very tired when I get home also. Yes, sir.
And your wife pushed you to the ground?
No, sir. I said she pushed me into the wall. So I didn't say she pushed me to the ground.
Okay. And you didn't retaliate at all?
No, so I can tell you she pushed me into the wall. She pushed me the first time. I said, "Support, please stop." She came and pushed me again. I put my hands out to try to block her and keep her off me. And pushed her hands down. And then that's when I was like, "Support, stop." And then she walked away and I walked out the room and I continued washing my clothes. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And then in 2016, the candle incident, she threw a candle where?
She threw a candle in my apartment bathroom. 3 a.m, shattered the glass, and I asked her to leave.
She threw it on the ground, like shattered it on the ground?
Yes, sir. She shattered it on the ground in the bathroom.
In the bathroom. And then speaking of the incident that started the TPO with your mother and your wife, you said that you walked into the room first to try to stop Sakura?
My wife walked into the room. I walked in behind her and I was talking to her. And then, yes, my mom heard her in the room. And then she was asked her to come out before she walked in. That's correct.
Would you be surprised if a video showed otherwise?
More than welcome to play the video. I'm confident in what
No,
I saw.
I'm just asking if you'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, I've witnessed the video. I saw it. I was there with Sakura, and I was there for the whole incident that I tried to get my wife to get help. Absolutely.
And then you said that the police said she was mentally unstable and wanted to 1013 her, but that's nowhere in the police report, correct?
From the sergeant's words,
Don't
yes,
hear what the
they
sergeant
did try
said.
to.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
police report. The police report.
Police report. No, but the ambulance was called to have her evaluated, which they did ask the 1013 her, and she.
Just yeah, just.
Okay.
Um,
I'm sorry. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gar. And then the 3 lumps on her forehead. How soon after picking up your daughter did you call the police?
I called them within 30 minutes to an hour.
Minutes to an hour. And why didn't you provide pictures to your attorney for this?
I have pictures. I sent them to my attorney. I was just having a hard time sending them, but I literally have no problem if I need to send them, upload them. However, I can definitely do that. Absolutely. And the pictures also were notated by the medical office.
And then, has a doctor ever diagnosed your wife with postpartum depression?
I don't know. She doesn't tell me much about her medical file no more, but she has seen 2 doctors and been on medication. And
So, to your knowledge, has your wife been diagnosed by a doctor with postpartum depression?
she's been diagnosed with depression for sure.
Okay, but you said that you believe she has postpartum depression. To your knowledge, has a doctor diagnosed her?
Yes, yes.
What doctor?
Was it her? I believe it's her OB.
OBGYN?
So give me a minute. I can locate the information once.
It's fine that we're in here and now. I just wanted to know where you're getting your information from.
Okay.
How long ago did you find out from the OBGYN?
I don't know, maybe a couple weeks. I had my suspicions, but a couple weeks. So I used to be a pharmaceutical rep. I worked in women's healthcare for 5 years. But give me one moment, I'll get that information for you.
No, I just want to know what you know, Mr. Gar, because you had stated earlier. And it's an ex parte order, correct? Not a TPO that's been issued. Like, we're here for the TPO today. I just want to clarify that. I mean,
You asking him or you asking the court?
that's Judge. It's for that was the ex parte order that he's referring to, right?
Trying to have extended to 12 months. But, you know, I'm listening to this, and if it's true she has postpartum, I'm sorry for her, and that's a very, 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 very real thing. And I'm sorry for her. However, or any other mental health issues on top of postpartum is horrible. And my objective would be to protect the child that's here, and hopefully she gets help. But is this and there's a divorce that was filed, looks like February the 14th by Ms. Holmes. And I don't think, it doesn't look like he's been served on it yet.
Not yet, Judge.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. Is this something in which I would do if there's, you know, a child, because you splashed all these medical records, I would appoint a guardian. Because one child's about 14, 15 months. So
Judge, if you just wait to hear my client's testimony, I think a lot of this will be cleared up of what's going on.
okay, do you have any more questions for Mr. Garland?
No, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Jones, do you have any more witnesses?
I would like to redirect, and I have another witness, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Gar, when your daughter came back to you on the 7th with the bumps on her forehead, did you forward those bumps to her treating physician?
On the yes, ma'am. So she came back on the 11th.
I'm sorry, yeah, the 11th. Did you forward?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can you, okay, sorry. Did you forward the photos of her injuries to her pediatrician?
Yeah, so the first thing I did was I called her pediatrician the first thing that morning. I tried to get her in as soon as possible, the earliest appointment available. And I made them aware of what was going on, and they told me to just bring the plea for the pictures.
Okay. And after reviewing the pictures and reviewing the child in person, your pediatrician thought that there were signs of child abuse, correct?
Yes, after looking at the pictures and then once the swelling went down, looking at her current status, absolutely.
Your Honor, I would like to share the photos of the injuries.
Okay, go ahead.
Great. Oh, okay. Mr. Gar, do you recognize these photos?
Yeah. It's my
Hello?
baby.
Hello? Mr. Gar, do you recognize these photos? This photo?
Yes, I do.
And what date is this photo dated?
That was February 11th, as soon as I had recovered my child and got her back.
And is this a picture of your child?
Yes.
These photos won't go to depict. And let's see, these are the pictures that you send. I'm just gonna go through the pictures. You send pictures that you sent to her doctor with the bruising on her forehead.
Yes, ma'am. She also had a scratch in the middle of her forehead as well.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gar, you also mentioned that your wife has been treated for postpartum depression.
Yes. She's been treated for depression, and she's been on a few depression meds and Zoloft as well, to help her just with the mood swings and such.
Thank you, Mr. Gar. That's all for this witness, Your Honor. I would like to call my second witness. I would like to call Mr. Gar's mother.
Is that the Joanna?
No, no, Judge.
Sharis? Yes. Miss Sharis Gar. You have to go another. 1 second, Your Honor.
Where is she?
She's coming to the camera.
Okay, was she in the room with you?
No, Your Honor, she just came in. She's right here.
Hey, has she been in the room with him?
No, Your Honor.
I just walked in.
Where have you been this whole time?
I've been in the other room.
Has she heard any of this testimonies?
No,
I just walked in here.
We're in a house, Your Honor, so there's a couple rooms. Mr. Gar had gone outside earlier, so she was outside.
Okay, you can stop sharing your screen if there's nothing on there.
Okay.
Judge,
Yeah.
Judge, we would still like to object to the video being introduced into evidence based on.
Yeah, what is this video?
Yeah, I'll give you the statute. So statute 16.
No, I mean, I know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Know that. I'm just like, what's the purpose of me hearing this video or hearing this report?
Your Honor, we'll just be playing the audio. We won't be showing a video. The audio is of Mrs. Holmes.
To overhear, transmit, or record the private conversation of another which shall originate in any private place.
Your Honor, this is just an audio recording, which only one party consent is required in Georgia for audio recording.
What about Georgia's a one-party state? Only one party in the conversation needs to know it's being recorded. Mr. Martinez.
It's a video, Judge, of a private conversation between the two of them. And my client had no idea.
It was more than two of us.
All right, I don't need you to help me. Ms. Jones?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear you.
Okay, so what it is, did somebody stereotypically, just, God, I can't even speak today. Stereotypically just record this meeting between the two of them? Was there some, I mean, how did this get a video recording and you only want to play the audio? Did she have her phone? Was she recording this conversation with her phone, the video? I mean,
Yes, she recorded the audio with her phone, Your Honor.
I mean, are you, Mr. Martinez, are you denying that she had postpartum depression?
Yes, Judge.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Well, it's just not that we have medical records that my client will show you through her testimony.
tell me.
This conversation started with my client trying to reconcile with his husband's mother. They had been at odds with each other, and her husband asked her to reach out to her. I mean, I'm sure this should be my client testifying, but she was trying.
What I'm trying to figure out is okay, so.
It's a 2-hour recording, Judge, and they're just taking a snippet out of it.
I
can play the whole recording.
There's a 30-day status conference on March the 28th,
Yes, Judge.
and it's a Judge Ellerby case. Do you plan on acknowledging service?
We were hoping that we could today. We could ask Mr. Gard or Ms. Jones to acknowledge service for a client.
Ms. Jones, do y'all plan on acknowledging service?
Yes, Your Honor, we can acknowledge service today.
I mean, I'm not forcing you, asking, because this is gonna be the 28th. I mean, because my thing here is, what's wrong with this thing's status quo until you get in front of Judge Eller? And I mean, I'm more than welcome to appoint a guardian instead of me spending this time 2 hours watching this video. Appoint a guardian ad litem that can watch the video and then can look at the medical records, so you guys don't have to introduce medical records into evidence. Is there an issue with that?
I don't have an issue with that, Your Honor.
I would have to speak to my client first about the guardian before I just agree to it, Judge. So usually there's a cost behind it, and
Yeah, I mean, so is she working?
my client, no, ma'am, no,
Okay,
Judge.
But he's working, right? Ms. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor, he is working, but he is the only person supporting the minor child currently. And he's supporting himself and the other members of his family
Well, I
as well.
understand that. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna appoint a guardian. I mean, the child's 14 months, 15 months old. 15 months old, and then there's a new one on the way. This isn't gonna be a whole bunch of work for this guardian, but nobody, can speak for the, the 15-month-old and look at the medical records and the videos. So it's gonna be something that's kind of down and dirty. It's not gonna be a whole bunch of, it's not gonna be that expensive.
Yes, Your Honor, we're not opposed to a guardian.
All right, Mr. Martinez, if you can go back to breakout room 1. Now, Ms. Jones, it would obviously be your client trying to, cover the cost of it. It can be reassessed. I'll put your client in breakout room 1 with you, Mr. Martinez, if you want to go and ask her, or if you want to. Did you rather go in there or call on the phone?
I can just mute it and call her on the phone, Judge.
Okay. All right, keep yourself on mute, Ms. Holmes. And while I do that, let me see what I can get a.
What up, Robert?
1 minute, Your Honor, I'm gonna step away for a second.
Sure. If you want to go talk with them, I'll mute them so that you can go in there.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to go talk to my client.
Okay. It needs to be your first and last name is what your screen name needs to be. Thank you. Jason Lowry. Martinez, go ahead and ask your client some questions.
Yeah, mute your, yep, there we go. Ms. Holmes, can you please state your full name for the court?
Sakura Holmes.
And how do you know Mr. Gar?
He's my husband.
All right. I mean, let's just get down to it. Can you tell us about this incident in 2016 with the candle?
Hey, how about we start in 2023? 2016.
Okay, that's a long way. Okay, let's go to November then with the push where Mr. Gar claims you pushed. Can you tell us about that incident?
Yeah. Me and Mr. Gar, we have a home that we share with all of my in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, grandmother-in-law, 4 dogs, and 2 guinea pigs. I explained to my husband, there's no reason for our house to be in foreclosure. We have all these adults here. It looks like a hoarder house because they don't clean up. It's not safe for my daughter. And I voiced my concerns with my husband, and he did not do anything about it. So he was walking, he was doing laundry, he was holding his clothes, and I stepped in front of him and I said, Sam, listen to me. And he dropped his clothes, he pushed me, I shoved him back, and then he strangled me. And then I said, I can't breathe. And then he took my arms and he grabbed me like this and then told me to get out the house.
And Ms. Holmes, did you send me pictures of your bruising from this incident?
I did, yes.
And have you changed or altered them in any way?
No.
Judge, I would like to share my screen showing the pictures. Let's see.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Holmes, is this an accurate depiction of what you just described?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you please explain what the picture shows?
It shows that he wrapped his hand around my arm and he grabbed my left and right arm. He grabbed it. And I didn't even know I had bruising until a few days later when I tried to put my shirt on and I felt the pain.
Judge, I would like to admit this as, do we need to do that and admit this as respondents?
Your Honor,
Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Your Honor, I object to the admittance of this photo. I don't see the foundation. There's no date to know when this occurred or what time it occurred.
Foundation, Mr. Martinez.
I can submit a date. I do have a date.
Ms. Holmes, Mr. Martinez, a little bit more foundation.
A bit more foundation. Ms. Holmes, is this a clear picture of you?
Yeah.
And,
my face? No. Yeah.
well, is this you in the picture?
Yeah, that's me.
Is this a fair and accurate depiction of what happened November 11th?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When was it taken?
This happened November 16th.
And sorry, Ms. Holmes, when was this picture taken?
November 16th, 2022 at 2 a.m.
And when did the incident with the pushing happen?
November 15th on his birthday.
So this was a couple hours after this.
Yeah.
All right. Judge.
Judge.
And then, is this a picture of your other arm of the same incident? Can you see my screen, Ms. Holmes?
Other arm is the same incident.
Same incident?
Mm-hmm.
Was it taken at the same time?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Judge, I move to admit this as respondents, Exhibit 2.
Your Honor, I object to the admittance of these photos. It doesn't clearly depict who is even in the photos. Not sure, we can't see the person's face in any of the photos that were presented. Okay, Your Honor.
Yeah, they're admitted.
All right, thank you, Judge. Stop video. Oh, no, that's not it. Stop share. And, okay. Can you explain the incident that happened, that started this, that gave the petitioner the ex parte order?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can explain. Because there are so many people in the house, and they were supposed to move out in October of last year. It's now February at that time, and they were still there. They had been saying that they were going to move. I was told my husband, I'm really worried about my child having a room to lay in, my unborn child. And so he said that, oh, they're moving. So what I did was, I said to him, well, we need a date. We need a move out date because that's extremely important, because I want to be able to set the baby room up before I leave, before I deliver. Now all the bedrooms were taken. Even my daughter has to split a bedroom with me and my office at the time when I was working. So one of the instances that the reason why his family was upset with me is because they wanted to take Skylar, our daughter, to the Battle of the Bands, and she had strep throat. And also the Battle of the Bands is extremely loud, okay? And so I told them no. I always, manage my child's health and safety. And they got upset. And they stopped talking to me and stopped walking around the house, and they got an attitude because anytime I try to train my child, they feel like she can't cry. They feel like she doesn't need to do anything but be held. And I am trying to give my child more independence because I have another child coming and they're supposed to be leaving. So the night of the incident, what really spawned that into fruition was I told my husband when he came out to the car, I said, hey, Sam, I'm going to take a video of the house because this is not fit for a child. Before you go in there, you need to let them know that I will be taking pictures and video of the house. And he said, okay. Apparently he didn't believe me. So I walked in, I have the video where I walked in the house, and the house always looks like that. They say they're moving. The house always looks cluttered. There's bins everywhere. Anything can topple on my baby. So I walk in the bedroom, the door is open, and I say, this is unfit for a child. I would never go in their bedroom just to go in there. The problem is she's co-sleeping with them. She co-sleeps with them all the time. And I don't allow it, but my husband he gets a really bad attitude when I tell him she needs to sleep in her crib. She needs to sleep with us. He gets to the point where me and my husband don't talk. I leave the room, I sleep on the couch, I pull my daughter's bassinet upstairs, and I just let her lay right there. That's how bad it has gotten between me and my husband. So I took a video because out of desperation, I needed help to keep my baby safe. And so when I had the video up, I was recording and I said, this room is unfit for a 1-year-old. And then his mother comes in and says, get the F out of my room. She walks in and then she clotheslines me and the phone knocks away. She hits me in the neck. Then she pushes me back on the bed and I see her ram back, and I pull my knees up because she looks like she's going for my stomach and I'm pregnant. So of course she pushed me and struck me in the stomach, and I was like, you assaulted me, you assaulted me. And Sam was right behind her and he was saying, Mom, stop, just let her leave, just let her leave. I had tried to leave. I had tried to walk out, but she blocked the door. That's the reason why I could not walk out. You even hear in the video where I say, excuse me, and then she gets into a rage. So after that, I call the police. Even before then, she asked on the video, you can hear her say, erase the video, erase the video. So I say, okay.
Hold on one second. So you said that you sent me a video, is that correct, Ms. Holmes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you took a video that night?
2 videos, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you took a video of the incident as it's happening?
Yeah.
And you sent them to me?
Mm-hmm.
Have you changed or altered them in any way?
No.
All right, let me share my screen real quick.
Your Honor, is Mr. McCormick sharing a video recording of Mrs. Gar?
That's correct, Ms. Jones.
I would object to.
What is this, a video recording?
It's the video recording of the incident that led to the ex parte order. Judge, even if we did use the video statute that I referred to earlier, I would just ask for Mr. Gar to get back on the stand and show the video for impeachment purposes.
Somebody tell me how this kid got a bruise on her.
Honestly, Judge, I don't know. I'm very concerned and frustrated because I was at that house and I dropped my kid off there. I was served and she didn't have any bruising on her. This is my first time hearing about it, so I'm very, very, very concerned about it. I have the time when they served me the TPO, and then the time they took that video or that picture was 2:58 a.m. and I was served at 2:10, and my witness can attest to that. There was no bruising on her.
And Judge, if you are concerned about my client's mental status, she just got a mental evaluation by a doctor last week.
I mean, I'm just curious if you had pulled apart. I'm not trying to make a thing out of that. I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. If I can explain to you.
If I finish talking to Mr. Martinez.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But my concern is, one thing, no wonder you guys are at each other's throats, because you got 27 people living in the house, grown folks need to be gone. But, and Mr. Gore, why you let your whole family move in and not get them out, and you're losing your house? Anyway, besides that, how far along are you, Ms. Holmes, now?
7 months. I was 7 months at the time of the incident as well.
All right, so here we go. Here comes a brand new baby. And I still, just what I've heard from, I'm telling you, Mr. Martinez, and you also Ms. Jones, what I care about right now is because I think these two grown folks can leave each other alone. He can kick his family out of the house, tell them to go get their own, and stop supporting his entire family, generations back from him, and start taking care of the family that he has made, and start working on this. She has filed for divorce. My thing is, get a guardian that'll do, like I said, some down and dirty investigations. Probably it won't cost a whole lot because I know who I'll pick to do it, and they could probably have it done by the time you go and show up in front of Judge Ellerby. Because I don't know that this is going to need to be extended for just 12 months or something like that. I think what can happen is the guardian can get to the bottom right now. How this child has been bruised on the head, and look at the medical records and look at everything else, and get something in place for you once you get in front of Judge Ellerby or Judge K. Because this is just, without me being able to sit down and look at the records and look at all this, I'd rather use the investigative arm of the court and let a guardian look into it. That's my entire reason for wanting to. And then I'm not that great at math, but Ms. Holmes, you were 7 months in November, and now it's March.
She's 7 months now, Judge.
7 months now, and in 1 week I'll be 8 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
You were 7 months then.
The incident that happened with with Mr. Gar's mom happened like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. So, I mean, that's my thing. That's my position on a guardian, that you leave the ex parte in place, you get the guardian. How long has it been since you've seen the baby, Ms. Holmes?
It's been since I've been served, Judge. But can I say something?
So hold on, Mr. Martinez, Ms. Jones, what are y'all thoughts?
Your Honor, we're still not opposed to the guardian ad litem. The only issue that we have is Mrs. Gar stated that Ms. Holmes stated that she's currently not employed. My client is saying that she is gainfully employed and she has a job with Amazon, and she has been employed.
She is not employed yet. She's been attempting to be hired by Amazon since she has left. That's what she's been trying to do.
Right. Okay, so, and what I'm telling you is obviously, and if she won't be able to be employed for too much longer because she's about to have another baby.
Yeah, Judge, I used to have my own company for.
Oh, it's okay. We're talking. So how about Mr. Martinez, Ms. Jones? How about go back into breakout room 1, you two, Ms. Jones, I'll put you back in there, and then I'm coming in there and we'll chat openly.
Sounds good, Judge.
Elaborate a little bit for you.
No.
Okay.
So right now, Mr. Martinez, just let her, it's for grandma and grandpa to be there when she's with the child, let her stay there. Is this house in foreclosure still, Mr. Martinez?
No, the house was never in foreclosure, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was. That's not true.
Hold on, Ms. Holmes. I have heard that the grandparents did just purchase a home, so we would definitely need the address for that if the child's going over there.
So, Mr. Gar, where's the child? If the child's with you, where's the child gonna stay?
The child's gonna stay with me, and then I have to work. I'll provide childcare for.
What time do you work?
I normally work from about 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m. right now.
So who watches the child when you're at work?
Either my mom or my sister.
The person who assaulted me, Your Honor, is watching my child.
That's not true.
Here we go.
That's
All
not
right,
true.
so here we go. So so who's living in the house besides you, Mr. Gar?
Well, it was my mother.
No, listen. Who is living in the house right now besides you?
No one, his parents are moving today.
What I want to know, who was living there right now? So that's the thing, is that, and Mr. Gar, if you go to work, and I mean, so Miss Holmes, Miss Green, and she works with Marcy Millard, is going to be the guardian, and I've already told them she does a great job, and she's going to get down and do this. And there's not a whole bunch. She's going to want to see some medical records and things like that, and see this child. Obviously, the child's 15 months, but still, she's going to do what she can. Give a report to. Y'all can get in front of me. We can put it. I think you have a 30-day status conference. What did I say? The 28th. We can put y'all down for an April date here, in case something happens and it gets continued. Maybe let's see. It's free. Maybe like mid-April, because I think they got the 28th. So like first, second week of April, I guess.
Oh,
Let's see.
My calendar is.
And we got April 7th is a Friday. April 7th is a Friday, and then and you've got March 31st is a Friday.
I'm available both days, Your Honor.
I'm actually asking Mr. Jones and Ms. Jones and Mr. Martinez. April 7th or the 14th. And like I said, if Ms. Green wants to get back in front of me, she knows that she can email Ms. Free, and the four of us can all get on a conference call. If it's before.
I would prefer the 14th, April 14th.
Oh, it looks like he dropped off. Maybe that's why he was frozen. So the 14th is a Friday that she's here. And I think.
Hey, there's a fire in my lawyer's office. He'll get on as soon as possible.
Oops. Like an alarm, or was it on fire?
Fire. I heard it in the background.
Heard the fire in the background?
No, I heard the alarm in the background.
Oh, okay, it's an alarm.
Judge, you said I would have all day Saturday.
You need to hold up talking to me until your lawyer gets back, okay?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because it expired. And I gave her that date also, and I've sent her pleadings I sent her copies of the pleadings in the divorce. Ms. Jones, they'll have an acknowledged service, like I said, you have to or whatever, but, so she'll be in both of them. So she'll be able to give, and she wants to know if I want a recommendation by then. I think, and you both are gonna control the expenses of the guardian. So if, and the guardian doesn't need to talk to a whole bunch of people. What the guardian is looking at the best interest of this child, Sky. So If you got the medical records, you can give her those. If you want to talk to one person or something, then have them with you when you want to, okay? Because the more you stretch it out, email all this stuff, the more it's gonna cost. So you have to be conscientious of how much of her time. And you don't have to tell her, don't waste her time, because that's just wasting money, okay? So the candle back in 2017, seriously, I mean, I get it, but I would not waste her time telling her, going on about the candle incident in 2017. Okay, because it's 2023.
Judge, I do see a little bit of I do see a problem though, when Mr. Gar's mother is taking care of the child and my client needs to go pick up their child, when that is the two people that started like that.
Yeah. So how do you want to resolve that? I mean, obviously, so
Your Honor, I'm not clear on what the issue is.
I guess he's worried that there may be some sort of conflict with Mr. Gore's mom and Miss Holmes, if she's the one doing the exchanges.
Maybe if
So Your Honor, my client owns his own company, so his schedule is flexible. If we want him to change his work schedule, like he's the one that's there when the exchange occurs, that's perfectly fine with us.
He's not flexible. He's a tow truck driver. He could be out of town 2 hours.
hold on, Ms. Holmes, if he agrees to, if he can do it, he can do it.
If he can do it, he can do it. If he's saying he can do it, he doesn't do it. It's just gonna look bad on him for saying he can do things he can't do. You know, so if you say you're gonna do it, Mr. Gar, you know, then do it. Stand up, do it. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't say you can do it just to put it on your mom or somebody else. So if you can change it, you can do it. I don't want you to say, I'm talking to the lawyers. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Yes, Your Honor, we would like also to have a backup person in case an incident Mr. Gar is unavailable. His grandmother is also available as well, and they've had no incidents between his grandmother and Ms. Holmes. Is that acceptable?
It is not. She has dementia. She's not supposed to be watching the kid.
Okay, well, she has dementia then. No. What about the sister? We're not gonna go through the family tree.
Sister acceptable?
There's a sister. What's wrong with the sister? It's not like you guys are gonna have to sit down and break bread. You're gonna go here, fine, that's it.
The sister works at night. She's a nurse and she sleeps. She's gone.
So this is only for the exchanges, so maybe.
Yeah, so during the day,
Just for the
I think the sister will be fine.
It's just for the exchange. I think that everybody on here can act appropriately. And Mr. Gar, get your mother.
You want the mother to come back in?
Yeah, go get your mother, Mr. Gar. You and your mother get on here.
Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna go get her. No, Mr. Gar, okay, that's fine. He already left.
They could be back in there. Miss Holmes, I'll tell her to be an adult. Okay, that's all I can do. If she acts up, then anyone who misbehaves is not gonna be good reflection on that party. So if your mom misbehaves, Miss Holmes, it's not gonna be a good reflection on you. Miss Gar, whatever issues, if any, and just all I want to hear from you is yes or not of the head, okay? Is that if you're going to facilitate some of the exchanges, Mr. Gar says that he can, but in the event that he can't, you will be the one that probably transports, meets Miss Holmes, exchanges this child. That's all you got to do. Whoop, here's a baby. Here.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, so be cool. Just be cool. No argument, no fighting, no nothing. It's not worth it. Like I told Miss Holmes, if it's Miss Holmes' mom that has to do it because something's up with her and her mom acts up, it looks bad on Miss Holmes. If you act up, it looks bad on your son. So everybody in here is above 12 years old. Let's act.
Yes,
Okay?
I'm a nurse judge. I wouldn't act up or do anything like that. I have a license here at stake, so I don't do anything like that.
Her license has lapsed, Judge, and she's probably.
Ms. Holmes,
It doesn't matter.
Thank you, Judge. I'll put my son back on.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want you to do. So that's what we do. So Ms. Holmes, stop. I don't care if her nursing license is left. She went to school. She graduated. This is just about this poor child and getting everybody back on the right path. Okay, that's it. So, 8 hours tomorrow on Saturday. It could be this Saturday, then next Sunday. These two lawyers, y'all can work it out. Just write something up, and then 5 hours every other day or something like that. Y'all figure out that meeting place and don't make it harder on your lawyers because all y'all doing there is running up your lawyer bill. So there's a neutral place to meet. And Mr. Gar, I don't know what y'all want to do, but if y'all are ever gonna ever think about trying to work this out, Mr. Gar, you're gonna have to empty your house. You got a wife, one kid here, and another kid on the way. And if y'all were ever gonna work it out, it's just gonna have to be y'all that lives in the house, not everybody else.
Yes, Your Honor. No one else lives in the house.
I'm just talking about in the future.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
I'm just talking about in the future, okay? So, there you go. And Mr. Martinez, Ms. Jones, y'all just, like I said, something where they're gonna exchange so they'll know their times and their exchange, shoot it to me, and we'll just do it as an exhibit to the reset notice.
Thank you, Judge.
And if you want, we'll also put the divorce case number on if you want. We can file it in there if you want it filed in there too, as far as the schedule, so that Judge Ellen.
Definitely, yes, Judge.
Because there's times, and I don't know, there's a pregnancy now. Hopefully y'all can work this out, because if something comes up with this pregnancy and she wants him to be there, this is when y'all have to be able to work this out. Okay, so y'all think about situations like that.
Hey, Judge, I'm
All
sorry.
of y'all, thank you so much. Stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend, and I'll look for y'all's email. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.